The walk up to Leo's house is short, only about 15 minutes, but it feels like it takes much, much longer than that. Every tiny sound makes me jump, and I'm steeling myself for the moment when I see that creature again.
Well, they're not trying to leave town now, so why would it still come after you?
Oh, well, that might not be the
I
only
don't
thing.
know.
Nothing happens, though. No screams, no gunshots. Aside from the crickets, the town is dead quiet. Still, we keep to the shadows, cutting through some backyards and sagebrush, probably picking up dozens of spiders and ticks along the way.
Probably.
See, it just keeps going. Like they
loves
just talk about it all the time. It's funny, despite everything that's been going on, spiders are the biggest thing that are on my mind as I push through the branches and foliage. Finally, the wolf's house appears out of the dusty, dark night. Leo walks ahead of us with TJ. TJ asked to walk on his own for halfway here, and now he's clinging to TJ's hand like a kid afraid of getting lost at a mall. I don't blame him. As we walked up to the house, though, Leo stops. Kudzu, Carl, and I crowd behind him.
What is it?
Leo puts his finger to his lips, then points at the window of this window on the side of this house.
Broken.
It's broken.
Nope.
Shit.
Leo lets go of TJ's hand, then makes a stay here motion with the others as he starts creeping forward to the house. With some difficulty and a few awkward sounds, Leo pulls his gun out of his wet pants. I scream internally at the thought that Leo is going in alone, and he is the only one with a weapon now. Apparently, Kudzu had lost his during the whole lake incident, which Leo is pretty pissed about. That's reasonable, though.
Yeah,
like
reasonable.
It's hard to keep track of that in that situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. Leo tries the door, then disappears inside, reaching out to make sure the screen door doesn't bang shut behind him. And then he was gone. We stand there in silence a moment, then Kudzu whispers,
"Hey, let's stand back, just in case."
Yeah, okay. Kudzu turns towards the road while I face towards Leo's house. Carl and TJ are stand on either side of us. TJ hasn't said a word since Leo put him down. Ever since what happened at the lake, something in him snapped.
Maybe we should have just gone up to my place.
Do you have food?
Probably.
Carl does. Carl's gaze up sadly towards the mountain, his mansion somewhere hidden in the darkness.
I don't know. If someone broke into Leo's place to steal stuff, they definitely want to do the same to yours.
Knowing this town, Kudzu is probably right. Most of the people here resented Carl's family, and the way their mansion looked over the whole town. Like they're taunting us, people would say. I keep my eyes on the house, trying to see through the black windows. Leo hasn't turned on any lights, of course, so I can't see anything. Listening doesn't bring any clues either.
So, what do you guys think that thing was? I don't know, but I still think it was a kind of animal.
It practically bent the car in half. I say it out the side of my mouth, away from TJ.
Maybe we should go inside? Probably safer in there than if there was a burglar or whatever.
Didn't the mayor say something about it, like, that it only kills us if we're trying to leave? I glance back at Kudzu. Is that what she was talking about? Kudzu shakes his head and shrugs his shoulders. Right, the mayor's female. I forgot.
I really don't know, Chase.
So we go back to waiting. I'm almost about to mention that maybe we should move closer to the house, just in case, when we have to scream. When we hear a scream. Whatever. It comes from inside Leo's house, and it definitely doesn't sound like Leo. Carl squeaks next to me.
Shit.
I'm already running up the stairs, though, and I hear the others following closely behind.
Is it Jenna?
I push through the door, almost running headlong into the bench?
Yeah.
Into the bench where you're supposed to take off your shoes. Leo? I shout as I realize that it's probably a bad idea. A moment passes where the only sound I can hear is the heavy breathing of my friends behind me. Then...
Down here. Turn on the lights.
His voice comes from down the hall, and it's calm. I move a paw along the wall before finding the light switch, revealing the kitchen. We move down the hallway towards Leo's room, where I can see that the light is on. Inside, I find Leo standing on his own bed. In the bed, I see someone else. A little polecat, disheveled in a tank top, looking even more skeleton than usual.
What are you doing here, Clint?
It's Clint, curled up in a little ball, cowering. Leo has a gun pointed at him.
Wait, please don't shoot me. I just needed a place to stay.
Leo inches the gun lower.
Then why aren't you at your own place?
Kudzu and Carl stand next to me while TJ stands in the doorway, gazing in at us from the dim hallway. Leo raises his gun again, and I actually think he's about to shoot Clint. Clint raises his paws, whining.
Leo, wait. He helped me find Chase. What?
Leo glances at Kudzu, then back at Clint.
He came up to my door last night, told me he saw Chase in the trailer.
I'm confused too, but I guess I never asked Kudzu how exactly he was able to find me. My mind immediately flashes back to when I saw Clint peering in at me in the trailer, asking Brian for drugs.
I might not have found Chase if he hadn't told me.
Clint nods enthusiastically to that, but Leo doesn't lower the gun. Wait, Leo, Clint hasn't actually done anything to hurt us since this started. Just...
Everyone's gone fucking crazy. Might as well get rid of him before he gets a chance at it too. Dang, Leo.
What are you doing, Leo?
Fucking killing a man in cold blood? Damn.
I mean... Leo's got a hardened look on his face that I don't recognize at all.
Wait, I know how to get out of here, I think.
Leo stares, Leo's stance falters, but only just.
What do you mean? That's why I'm here. Just get the gun off me for a second, I'll explain.
Clint is twitchy and keeps scratching at his chest and arms.
I have a theory. Do they leave by train?
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good
That's
theory.
the only way to get out.
Yeah,
By
yeah.
the
It's,
train.
you can't really hear it in the soundtrack because how we're listening to this, but in the soundtrack there's a bunch of ambient tracks and, key music that has the sound of trains in the background, so that you're always, like, kind of thinking about it.
That's pretty good.
Right? It's real good. Also, my favorite scene is on the train.
I'm
so.
actually happy that I figured that out real fast.
Yeah.
That's very good. Good job.
It's like, you can't leave by car.
You can't walk
You
out.
can't walk out, so the only other place out is by train.
Yeah, and the train is very nostalgic for Chase. So
Very important.
it comes off like he was able to find those drugs after all.
Come on, Leo. It's all of us against him. He can't do anything to us.
Leo keeps the gun on for a few seconds, then finally lowers it with a dismissive grunt.
All right, fine. How are we supposed to get out of here?
Clint slowly pushes himself up and sits against the frame of Leo's bed, clearing his throat.
Well, I think it might have something to do with the train yard.
There's a moment of silence as we all wait for Clint to go on. He just stares back at us, though. Well, stares back at the gun in Leo's paw.
Clint? Huh?
Clint doesn't look at Kudzu as his eyes remain fixated on the pistol.
Leo, just put the gun down for a second, okay? On the dresser behind you or something.
Leo shakes his head.
I'm not risking our lives again, Cud.
Leo fixes Clint with a glare.
The most I'm gonna do is keep the gun off you, Clint.
Clint flinches when Leo says his name. I look over and see Carl twisting his paws around the pocket of his hoodie, his eyes widen. TJ, on the other hand, is still standing in the hall, his eyes glinting softly in the dim lighting. For some reason, I get the feeling that he's looking at me.
Tell us now.
Leo's tone turns dark and I look over, half expecting him to have the gun up again. It's still pointing at the carpet, but I can practically see Leo's finger twitching against the trigger guard. He's looking almost excited. The Leo I know would never be so eager to kill someone. Well, maybe the Leo you know is dead, Chase.
Completely gone.
Even if that someone happens to be Clint. I hope that when this is over, if we get out of this somehow, Leo is able to get back to that old self. Clint's shaking so badly he can barely speak. Finally, Kudzu steps between them.
All right, Leo, if you want to keep the gun, that's fine. But can you at least step into the hallway? Maybe he'll be able to calm down enough. No.
Kudzu stops short, but I can see him set his jaw, drawing up his shoulder.
Someone actually might have some information to get us out of here, and all you want to do is scare him shitless?
I can see Leo putting himself up too, and I don't think the look in his eyes. So I step forward as on Kudzu's right, practically blocking Clint from Leo's line of sight. When I do, Leo's eyes snap to mine, the shimmering snarl disappearing from his muzzle. Leo, come on.
Otter, move out of the way.
His tone is gentle, like I'm some sort of child. No, Leo, you're acting weird right now. Just calm down for a second, okay? Leo frowns at me.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep us all safe.
I can see the wolf leaning his head to a side a little, like he's trying to keep an eye on Clint. Leo, let's go out into the hallway. Kudzu? I give the raccoon a sidelong glance. Can you handle him for a few minutes, okay? Kudzu nods. I take a few cautious steps towards Leo. He's looking between me and Kudzu now, and there's a different look on his face. One that I'm having troubles placing. I reach out and gently touch his arms. His muscles are hard, his biceps standing out thickly under his fur.
Very important detail.
Very important detail. Still, I gently try to push him forward towards the door. As I do, I feel him go a little slack, and with a whole lot of relief on my part, he finally starts moving towards the hallway. Carl, still gaping at the whole scene, finally seems to snap out of it and hurriedly move out of the way into the hall. Leo reluctantly continues to shuffle down the hallway as I put an arm around his side, hugging him to me. He responds with the same gesture. We pass a solemn-looking TJ, his eyes following me as we move towards the kitchen.
This is very sus.
What do you mean? You okay, Tej? He doesn't say anything, instead just slowly following us into the kitchen. His fur is still all prickly and messed up from the plunge into the lake. Time to have another shower.
Sure.
And his clothes look uncomfortably damp. That gives me an idea. Why don't we all get our clothes into the dryer? Then maybe we can have something to eat and just sit naked with one another. There's a moment of silence. Neither TJ or Leo give me any response. Carl gives a muffled cough, though.
Actually, I could go for some food.
About 20 minutes later, Carl, TJ, and I are sitting in the laundry room, putting our clothes through the dryer. I can hear Leo in the kitchen, frying something up on the stove. While I should be worried about not keeping an eye on him, he's calmed down considerably since we were in the bedroom. Also, the laundry room is between the kitchen and the bedroom, so it was pretty hard for him to get past without me seeing. So I keep watch, leaning against the wall, staring out in the dark hallway. Carl sits on the dryer, vibrating along with it, while TJ sits on the floor, cross-legged, looking at nothing.
This feels so good on my ass, dude.
What, the vibration?
No, the heat. I was freezing and didn't even realize it.
Carl knocks his hooves against the side of the metal dryer.
Hey, Tej, you want to join me up here?
No thank you.
You could just lean up against the side. You gotta be cold, too.
This time TJ doesn't say anything and finally looks away from the hallway. TJ, are you okay? Do you want to talk? TJ looks up at me, again with those emotionless eyes. Like a killer.
Like a murderer.
No. He says it due quietly. It's almost like he didn't say anything at all. I hold his gaze for a while before looking away.
Oh, don't worry about it, Tej. We're gonna be out of here in no time.
Kara slides off the dryer, his damp underwear squeaking loudly against the metal as he clops to the ground. He gives a few strategetic tugs at his underwear to probably loosen up the wedgie he had just created. Then he sits down on the ground in front of TJ, cross-legged as well. TJ barely looks up at him, and I notice the links trembling slightly.
Listen, back at my house, I was stuck in this weird trap version of my house. Like there was no exit.
TJ finally glances up at the ram.
And well, I thought I was gonna be stuck forever, and I was panicking. It was like a nightmare that wouldn't end. But then right when I was giving up, you guys woke me up. I mean, sure, I sort of woke up into another nightmare, but at least it's with you guys, right?
I hear shifting, then the bedroom door swings open. Finally, Kazu appears, slipping out and closing the door quietly behind him. The raccoon spots me and moves over to stand next to me, his ears perked. Hey.
Hey.
I see Kazu's nose twitch at the air, looking towards the kitchen.
Leo?
He's cooking.
Ah.
So, how'd it go? Were you in there? You were in there a while. Kudzu sighs and leans against the wall of the hallway, looking back at the closed door.
I don't know, really. It said something about a train going through here the past few days after everything started.
Through the rail yard?
That's what he says.
Huh. That didn't make much sense. The railroad had been abandoned for the past at least 50 years. Are you sure he isn't just like the rest of us, seeing things? Kudzu shrugs.
I really don't know. Hard to tell with a guy like him.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah.
Well, I remember some guys inspecting the rails a few weeks ago. Maybe they opened one up again?
That idea almost seems strange to me, but I don't know much about trains. So what? If this is a train going through here, are we just gonna jump onto it?
That was his plan anyway. Sounds like fun.
My mind jumps to Robert Smith and what exactly happened to him when he tried to hop on a train. It's fine.
It's fine.
Even if we were able to get onto the train, could that creature still get to us? It was able to knock the car into the lake, so I don't know how capable it is. So when does the train come?
He's not sure. Said it seemed random.
I sigh loudly. Then we all jumped as the dryer finishes with a loud grating buzz. I shakily rub my face, then move to open the dryer. Well, let's at least get our clothes back on. Then we can go into the kitchen and tell Leo what's going on. We all sit at the table, eating quietly as Kudzu tells everyone else. The food looks like some kind of vegetable stir-fry. The first bite reminds me that I'm starving, and it's hard so that it's just not to try and shove it all in my mouth at once. Carl, sitting across from me, does just that.
That sounds like a load of bullshit.
Kudzu shrugs.
I don't know what else to go on. Why else would he lie anyway? To buy himself some time.
Kudzu closes his eyes for a second, breathing in deeply.
Listen, Leo, there's no way he's going to try anything. He's scared out of his mind right now. Duke was scared. Didn't stop him from trying to kill us. It's probably worse that he's scared.
Leo looks up at the hallway, towards the bedroom, and I'm starting to not like the look on his eyes.
In fact, I'm wondering why the fuck we left him in the room alone in the first fucking place.
He starts to show his teeth. I reach out and rest a paw on the wolf's arm, again feeling the tensing of his muscles underneath his fur. Well, don't worry about it. But he jerks his arm away and suddenly turns on me.
Why the hell are you on his side with this shit? You were with that fucking bear. You know what these crazies are doing.
I wince internally at being reminded of the incident, but I try again, reaching out. Yeah, but Clint's not Brian. He's not a bear. You know, he was pushed around by that bear, too. Leo pulls his arm further away from me. He's looking back and forth between me and Kudzu again.
I see. What is this? You're both acting like I'm the crazy one.
The wolf pushes his chair back to the table.
I heard you whispering shit in the hallway. You've been saying things behind my back?
Leo narrows his eyes at Kudzu.
Whoa, dude, chill out. Why don't you keep eating, Carl? Damn.
Leo shifts his gaze towards the bedroom again, before abruptly standing up.
I'm gonna check on him.
Leo. I start to stand up as well, but Kudzu is one step ahead of me. He moves to intercept the wolf, both hands out.
Come on, Leo.
But he doesn't get to finish. Instead, the wolf goes straight into him, grabbing one of his arms and punching at his face. Kudzu sees it coming and is able to duck, but he's not quite fast enough. Leo's knuckles glance off the raccoon's muzzle, knocking his head around. Leo keeps a hold of the arm and swings Kudzu around, away from the hallway and back into the kitchen. Kudzu takes a fall rather well, going into a sort of a roll. He does end up banging against Carl's chair, but he comes up to one knee, panting and staring up at Leo. His nose is bleeding. What the fuck? I'm standing before I know it and moving around the table to stand at Kudzu's side. I look him over, trying to see if Leo had done him any serious damage before I look back at the wolf. What are you doing? Carl clumsily tries to help the raccoon up, his ears flat against his head. Leo breathes heavily, staring down at Kudzu before his eyes flick to me.
Get away from him.
What?
Get away from him.
This time there's a gnawing quality, growling quality to his voice, and I see his fingers drift towards his belt. I do move away from Kudzu, but only just. I don't want either of us getting shot. Leo turns his attention to Kudzu.
You, out.
Kudzu stares up at the wolf for only a moment, before getting briskly to his feet. His breath is erratic. I'm wondering if he's going to have a panic attack. He gives me a single glance before hurrying out of the kitchen. I want to stop him, get in the way like he did Leo's, but the look on Leo's face right now has me frozen, and I can't do or say anything as I watch the raccoon's tail disappear. I hear the door swing open, then bang shut. I look back and almost jump as I see Leo's eyes are still on me, studying me. He stares a while longer before turning away and stumping loudly down the hall. Carl is frozen next to me, and TJ is just sitting there, his eyes down on his plate, food untouched. Still numb, I have to force myself to walk forward, following Leo, terrified of what's about to happen. Leo, wait! My voice is too quiet, too soft for the wolf to even hear me. The door ahead of me swings open. There's a moment of silence, then Leo curses loudly, and I run to the door frame, looking inside, not sure what I'm about to find. What I find is nothing. No one's inside. The covers of the bed are thrown back, and the window wide open.
See, I told you.
Leo's voice goes from an almost scream to a hushed whisper as he moves to the window, looking out into the night. He slides the window shut and then locks it.
This is exactly what I was worried about.
What? Inside, I'm relieved more than anything else. For some reason, I'm positive that if Clint was still here, or if Leo had caught him in the act of trying to escape, I don't doubt he would have tried to shoot him.
That stupid fucking raccoon thinking he knew what was best.
Leo continues to peer out the window, his ears perked up.
I know what the hell's best for us. Thinks he can come in and just tell everyone what to do. See what happens?
I start to move back into the hallway toward the kitchen, but Leo suddenly whirls around me. He frowns, turns into a sort of uncertain smile.
Hey, Otter, are you okay?
I don't say anything, just stare at him.
Otter?
Vaguely, I can hear Carl clopping around uncertainly in the hallway, probably too afraid to get close. I try to speak, then wet my lips. Yeah? Leo extends a paw.
Come here. Did I scare you?
I fidget with my paws. No.
Well, come on then.
Slowly, I move into the wolf's room. Despite my dragging feet, my mind is racing, trying to decide what the hell is going on and what the hell I'm going to do. Leo's lost it. There's no question about that.
Clearly.
He's fine. He's fine. If something's that I've sort of known for the past day, ever since we found him in Duke's basement, and now it's getting worse, a lot worse. Still, I continue to move toward him, like I'm in some sort of dream. Soon, he's got me wrapped up in his arms, and despite his warmth, despite the strength I feel in them, I don't feel good about it at all. I'm just scared.
Chula.
He breathes into my ear, sending shivers down my spine.
I told you I'm going to protect you. I'm going to keep you safe. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
He stares, rocking me back and forth, shifting us around on his feet, like we're doing some kind of half dance at prom. He moves us around so that I'm looking at the door, and I see Carl's horns. His eyes fearfully peering into the room.
That raccoon, he wasn't good for you.
Good for me. He helped me. Leo gives me a squeeze that almost knocks the breath from my lungs, and that cuts me off.
Maybe, maybe not. I could see him acting strange, kind of like the others.
The wolf continues to rock us back and forth as I continue to look over Leo's shoulder, seeing Carl's eyes that this is definitely fucked up. I don't say anything else to Leo, wondered about how he might take it if I keep trying to convince him that Kudzu was only trying to help us.
I'm going to get you all out of here, okay? Out of here, like I should have done from the beginning, okay?
He gives me a little shake when I'm silent a little too long. Oh, okay.
Okay.
And he keeps rocking me like that's for what feels like an hour. And when we make another volition, I can see that Carl's not there anymore. Then I hear something. Soft at first, then louder and louder. Leo stops dancing with me. I could hear the rhythmic, dull metallic sound accompanied by a horn. A train. TJ and Carl are standing at the back door, staring out into the night. Leo pushes past them, ears perked as he tries to see through the darkness. The train sounds incredibly close, almost like it's only feet away. Should we go for it, like Clint said? Leo pauses, his nose twitching before he waves his paw at us.
You guys stay here. I'm going to have a look.
Leo! And just like that, the wolf disappears into the night, leaving us behind. I stare out into the night.
So I guess Clint wasn't shitting us after all, huh?
Yeah. All I can think about right now, is Kudzu. Did he hear that train right now? Was he on his way over there? I look at my right, towards Kudzu's house, only a few hundred feet away. Quietly, I start stepping outside.
Chase?
Carl's voice behind me is timid, scared. I look back at him, able to make out the whites of his eyes in the darkness. TJ lurks behind him, staring at me as well, though more stoically. I'll be right back. I just need to check on Kudzu. Everything that Kudzu had done for me up to this point, saving me multiple times, making sure I was doing okay, nursing me back to health with a muffin.
With a muffin?
Hell, even helping me with my project before all of this went to shit. I'm not going to abandon him. Just like with Leo, when he was imprisoned by Duke, I feel like it's my responsibility, only this time the urge is even stronger. I have to make sure Kudzu makes it out of this like the rest of us. Carl, though, doesn't look as enthusiastic about that.
I don't know if it's such a good idea. You saw Leo.
Carl looks over my shoulder, and I do the same, worried that maybe the wolf was coming back. All I see is the darkness. I realize that Carl is just afraid of the wolf as I am right now. I swear, I'm only going to be away for a few minutes. If Leo asks, tell him, I don't know, just tell him I needed some air.
That won't...
I don't wait for Carl to finish his sentence. My eyes slowly adjust to its dark, but it's too dark to really see any more than 5 feet. Among the stars overhead, it's almost dazzling, but it's not enough to light to help me see. In fact, it's almost disorienting. The way that the bright powder look in the sky clashes with the dark horizon of the mountains. Focusing on it too much makes my stomach turn, and I turn my eyes down, trying to focus on the barely visible ground instead.
Badonk.
Whack.
Naturally.
Until my face slams into something big, hard, and full of twigs. Jesus fucking damn it. I shout whispered into my paws, covering my nose, afraid for a second that I might have I ran one of my eyes through. A quick but shaky examination of my fingers puts those fears to ease, though now I feel my muzzle has gone flat into my face. That jolt had me feeling all the aches of the past 2 incidents with cars. I stand there in the dark for a moment, gathering my senses. It's almost completely silent now. The train, if it was a train, has passed us by at this point. The metallic clanks and rushing sounds far behind me. Standing in the silence, though, it's starting to give me second thoughts. I'm pretty sure there aren't any trees between Leo and Kudzu's house. Did I get off track somehow? Something cracks a little way ahead of me, and I freeze up, my ears twitching. I listen hard, trying to hear anything above the crickets. Okay, yeah, this was really fucking stupid.
Naturally. Your natural state.
Yep.
Chase.
I remember that I'm not all that far away from Leo's house, and look back at the yellow square of window in the distance. I should probably go back to reorient myself and try to get to Kudzu's house again. As I'm turning away, though, another crack behind me, followed by a muffled voice. Shit! I freeze at the voice. I open my mouth to try and quietly call out, but stop myself. I can't be sure, but it sounds like Kudzu, albeit muffled and low-pitched. I decide to wait a while longer, and with one foot pointed out towards Leo's house. And then, this time it sounds right next to me and jump in the air. I make a run for the house and immediately trip over several rocks, going face first into the ground.
Dang, you just suck, Chase.
I scramble at the ground with my paws and feet while I hear the voice again.
Whoa, Chase.
I slump back to the ground in relief. Oh my god, Kudzu! What the hell are you doing? I feel the raccoon's paws feel over me, then pull me back up to my feet. Yeah, you would like that, wouldn't you, Chase?
I heard a train and then I saw someone. Are you okay?
From the faint light of the stars, I can make out Kudzu's ears and the tips of his muzzle. I can hear... my eyes adjust to the point where I can even see the mask on his face. Yeah, I wanted to come get you in case you were gonna try to hop on the train. I look over my shoulder, trying to listen to the train again.
Little late for that, eh?
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to leave you behind.
Ah,
I rub my face where I hit the bench. Listen, I don't know what's going on with Leo, but maybe we can go back and try to talk. Cuzzy shakes his head.
nah, I don't think he's gonna listen.
As much as I hate to admit it, Kudzu is probably right. Well, I'm not gonna leave you out here after everything we went through. I see a glint of white as Kudzu gives me a small smile.
Wow, well, thanks, man. But really, you should probably get back before he...
At that moment, I realized something. Wait, what were you doing out here? You said you saw someone. Kudzu shifts slightly from one foot to the other.
I thought I did, at least.
Like someone from town, or...
I think it was your friend.
What?
The fox, Jenna?
Jenna? My eyes go wide and I turn back to the darkness, squinting. Where? Where did you see her? Kudzu turns to look at me, then takes a few steps forward.
Well, I was going back to my trailer after the whole thing with Leo. Then this fox girl just kind of jumped up from the side of my house.
Where did she go? My heart hammers in my chest right now as I strain to see her. Jenna's been on my mind since the very beginning, and her absence has only become more prominent after finding the others, except for Flynn.
Except for Flynn. Fuck Flynn. Well, I think she went off in that direction.
Kudzu points into the darkness.
I could hear her running off, but then the footsteps stopped. So I thought she might have stopped and hid somewhere.
Come on, then. I motion Kudzu forward and step forward the blackness of the wilderness.
Hold on, I was gonna grab a flashlight. There's no way we're finding anything out here at this time of night.
You go get them then. I'll wait.
Oh my god.
Of course, I'm terrified of being left alone, but I'm also terrified of Jenna running away if I don't keep watch. I'm getting the feeling she might be under the same influence that Carl and TJ had been.
You sure?
Yeah, I want to stay here in case she comes out. I wave him away.
Okay, but yell if something happens, alright?
Okay.
Chase, you're such a dumbass.
Look, he's trying. Kudzu goes in and comes out within less than a minute, though it feels way longer than that. While he was gone, I risked a few loud whispers of Jenna's name, and I didn't get any response. Pretty soon, a beam of light is sweeping the dirt, sagebrush, and cacti as we slowly make our way to the direction that Jenna had run. Apparently, it was thought the backyard and out towards the desert. I'm worried that maybe she didn't stop running. Why was she running? Did she say anything? I whispered softly to Kuzlu as I followed along with him, one hand on his shoulder.
No, just looked up at me and took off. Looked terrified of something.
I frown, my paw tightening a bit on the raccoon's shoulder. Maybe it's just because she didn't know where to... She doesn't know you, right? Maybe she was heading to Leo's place.
Maybe.
I try to focus on the sea of pale glow in front of me, the bright, cold light of the flashlight sucking the cool out of the desert, the color out of the desert. The grays and whites all sort of blend together after a while, and the swinging motion of the beams start to lure me into a weird hypnotic state. It's at this point that I catch movement out of the corner of my eye on the right, where the light isn't currently pointed. I hear the sound and shifting dirt and gravel, immediately followed by a bizarre, high-pitched snarl that makes me gasp in horror. I actually even piss myself a little as I see a glint of white teeth. Kudzu tries to swing the beam back in the direction of the sound, and at that point I try to pull him back with a paw on my shoulder. Whatever it is hits Kudzu hard, knocking him back and sending him stumbling away and landing on my ass. The light rolls away from the raccoon's paws and shines into my face, briefly blinding me. I can sense a loud, growling commotion right in front of me, along with the sound of kudzu grunting. Numbly, I reach out and snatch up the flashlight, then turn on the sound. First, I see Jenna, her ears back, teeth bared, swinging her paws at the crumped heap of the ground. That heap is Kubzu, but he's got his arms up in a self-defense, snarling back, his eyes wide. Jenna! I just look at that. The snarl drops from her face, and her eyes snap up to mine. Chase? And then the position is suddenly reversed as Kudzu grabs the fox by the wrist and partially barrel rolls. Now Kudzu sits on her back as he keeps a hold on her wrists. Wait, stop! I rush over to them, grabbing Kudzu's upper arm, trying to pull his paws away from Jenna. It's okay, she's good, she recognizes me. Kudzu only hesitates for a moment before scrambling off with the fox and backing away, breathing hard. Jenna quickly sits up. That's a long word. Absent-mindedly brushes off her shirt as she looks up at me. Oh my god, Chase!
There she is.
Yeah, it's been a while.
She made it back.
She says it in a hushed whisper, putting a paw to her mouth. Jenna, are you okay? I reach down to her to help her up, and she immediately goes in to hug me. I stand there awkwardly for a moment as she buries her face into my shoulder, gasping for breath. I'm not sure if she's crying or not. Are you okay? I ask again, patting her back awkwardly. Sorry, I'm fine. Jenna steps back and wipes under her eyes with the back of her paw. I didn't know where any of you were. Where were you? Jenna looks alright for the most part, except for the bunch of dirt on her clothes and in her fur. But I don't know if that's from before or after she was wrestling with Kudzu. I don't know. I was out in the desert, and it's still dark, obviously, but I can make out the frown on her face as she seems to struggle for words. Kudzu finally steps in.
Hey, let's get to my trailer. We can talk it out there, alright?
Jenna silently nods, then seems to really focus on Kudzu. Wait, who are you? Reasonable?
Reasonable?
I step in for the raccoon. This is Kudzu. He's a friend. He saved me a bunch of times. That seems to be good enough for Jenna. With that out of the way, we all head back toward the trailer.
Damn. How much more is there in Sunday?
There's like 2 more key scenes, like scenarios.
Damn. Long as shit,
right?
dog.
Quietly, Kudzu lets us into the trailer, opening the screen door slowly as that it doesn't creak. He motions us inside, and Jenna follows in behind me, pressing close. I suppose she has good reason to be wary of the place. She doesn't really know Kudzu at all at this point. It's hard to even trust people that you do know. Kudzu closes the door and slides the lock in place.
Man, is freaking Leo gonna kill Chase and or not Chase? Fucking kill TJ and Carl.
Well, that depends on your decisions. Jenna stands stands next to me in the small living room area, arms folded tightly against her body, like he's hugging herself. Hey, you want to sit down? I gesture at the recliner, which Jenna stares at for a few seconds. I don't know. The fox's ears are twitching around and pointed straight up. I turn to the small love seat next against the wall instead. Maybe there, I can sit with you. After a few moments of staring at the couch, Jenna finally nods. She walks stiffly over to the couch, looking at it for a few moments before finally sitting down. I notice 3 clumps of patches of fur on the back of her neck, and it takes me a moment to realize that it's dried blood. Had someone attacked her? Had she hurt herself? Jenna still hasn't relaxed when she settled and instead sat bolt upright, leaning hard against my shoulder. Much like her ears, her eyes are darting around, mostly over to the curtained window to our right. Meanwhile, Kudzu elects to sit in the empty recliner, and after turning it to a little to face us. The scraping sound is like... it makes the floor, causes Jenna to jump. Kudzu pauses, blinking, then settles down into the recliner.
Sorry, I really should put a rug under this thing.
Jenna doesn't say anything and instead just looks back at the window. Kudzu shifts awkwardly in the chair, then looks at me. I look at Jenna, trying to think of something to say. Jenna beats me to it. Do you know where the others are? TJ or Carl? Oh, they're at Leo's place right now. Them and Leo. Jenna frowns at me. Then why are we here? Let's go. She starts to stand up, but I reach out with a paw, grabbing her arm. She flinches and yanks away from me, standing up fully. Sorry, it's just hold on a second. It's complicated. Why? Jenna takes a deep breath, takes a step back away from me, folding her arms. The look in her eyes is worrying, like she's starting to not trust me. Look, Leo, he's kind of uptight right now. I guess I just wanted to give him some space. Give myself some space, really, away from him. Kudzu shifts in his chair again.
He kicked me out. Things got a little heated between us.
Jenna looks at Kudzu, the deep frown still on her face. Why? Leo wouldn't do that without a reason. She looks back at me, as if wanting some sort of confirmation. I nod. Leo isn't really himself right now. I'm really worried about him. Can we go over there and talk to him? I open my mouth, but I pause, trying to think of the right way to say it. I don't know. Not right now. I'm not leaving Kudzu, so I'm going to have to think of a way to get Leo to calm down. I'm also considering just staying separated from him until we get out of here, but I don't want to tell Jenna that. She looks stressed out as it is. Now that I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised if Leo is out there hunting for me right now. Odds are that he's going to come here eventually, maybe. Maybe he jumped to the truck already, to the train already. That reminds me, though. Oh, yeah, we think we found a way out. Really? Yeah, apparently a train goes by here once in a while. We're thinking of we can hitch a ride on it. Jenna takes that in, then just nods. The silence drags out for a minute or two before I finally lean towards her again. It's okay, just sit down and relax for a minute. Have a muffin. She does
Have a muffin!
She does so with even more hesitation, than the first time, sitting on the couch cushion like it might be a landmine. So, where were you the past few days, if you want to tell me, I mean? Jenna stares at the floor, then shrugs. I don't know, really. It's kind of a blur. I nod. Yeah, same. I guess it happened 2-3 days ago. I don't remember, but everything was normal until TJ woke up. It was like he was in a trance or something. I wasn't sure what was wrong with him. I thought he might have been having a seizure. Then I thought he was in a psychosis of some kind. Look at this psych major doing
She's
large
doing
words.
psych things and smart person things.
He left the motel and just ran running, so I followed him. He ran all the way out to the lake, and I wasn't sure if he was going to go in. But then he just stopped at the shore and stared at it.
Have you taken your pill yet, Megan?
Hours ago. I'm very tired.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I caught up to him and tried to talk to him, but it was like I wasn't there. All we could say was your name. Chase, where's Chase? I think he was looking into the water for you. Jenna looks right at me. I don't know why. Do you? Of course not.
Ooh. Look at that.
Yeah. Have you figured out who that is yet?
Well, you've already asked.
Yeah.
It's definitely just Chase.
Is it just Chase?
Yeah, it's just Chase.
Okay.
For sure.
I shake my head.
Or is it
I have no idea.
Is it?
It's not the creature.
not the creature?
No, that has a different voice.
Ooh.
Liar. So all the different entities, like supernatural entities, have different fonts.
Oh.
So you can keep track of them.
Liar.
The couch, the couch tilts. And so I sort of grabbed his shoulder to lead him away from the lake. But then he turned on me, and he sort of just changed. The water changed that day.
Ooh.
My head spins, and I brace my paws against the armrest, trying not to fall over. And he attacked me, claws at me. And for the first time. Jenna sticks out her arm and pulls back so some of the fur where I see bits of crusted blood. You knew what water felt like. I had to run from him, and he chased me for a while. To everyone else. And as I did, I realized the whole town was different. Everyone was different. Suffocating. I swallow hard, still gripping into the couch, but Jenna doesn't seem to notice, and Kudzu looking at her. The humming in my head starts to die down. You say he's at Leo's. Is he okay? Did he explain what happened? I shake my head, but only a little. I feel like I'm going to throw up. No, but he has been acting a little strange, I guess. I need to talk to him more, make sure he's actually okay. We will. Though I'm not sure that she'll find him okay at all.
So what happened after all that? It looked like you were hiding out there.
Kudzu gestures a paw at the window. Jenna covers her face with both paws, sighing deeply. That I'm not too sure about. After I run it all, I just sort of became a dream. I only remember bits and pieces. We wait a moment as Jenna seems to think. I remember I went back to the motel, I think, but then I saw something. Jenna pauses, then lets out a little humorless laugh. A thing I remember from my childhood. A monster, I guess. A monster? Yeah, like this thing. Jenna waves her paws in front of her face. Had like a red face, and I don't know. I thought I saw it in my closet a few times as a kid. Felt like it was chasing me.
Oh, we hate that. What do you think it was?
Jenna laughs hollowly again. Oh, I don't think it's anything. I just have had my own little breakdown after seeing everyone else's. Jenna sighs deeply again, sitting back into the couch. But then you guys came along, and now I think everything is clear. Jenna leans back for a moment, breathing deeply, and for her first time, it seems like she's relaxing a little. She turns her attention back to Kudzu.
So for all of like when you're finding, so everything that's happening to the people as you're finding them is like their end of the route thing.
No.
What? No.
Nope.
Because like Carl was talking about the labyrinth, but that's his end of the route thing, isn't it?
Oh, maybe.
No, maybe.
No, Jenna's the end of her route's like completely different.
Okay.
And TJ's end of route is like completely different. And you know, our glorious boy Flynn is just nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere.
Hey, Kudzu, is it? Kudzu nods. Mind if I use your restroom? I need a moment to collect myself and pee too. An actual toilet would be nice.
Oh, yeah, just right there.
Kudzu points at a thin white door between the kitchen and the living room. Thanks. And with that, Jenna disappears into the bathroom. Kudzu and I sit in silence for a moment, listening to the sounds of running water from the faucet. Well, I think now we have a reason to go back to Leo's house. I know he won't be mad at you if he knows you found Jenna.
I don't know about that, but yes, we're gonna have to go back with her.
I talked to him first, in case he's still out of it.
Again, thanks. I am glad you're here with me right now.
Kudzu rubs his arm awkwardly.
I get panicky when things get physical, which they have a lot lately.
I gesture at the cushion next to me, and after a moment of hesitation, Kudzu gets up from the recliner and sits next to me.
Relationship with Leo ended. Kudzu
No,
is
no,
my new
no,
boyfriend.
no. Wrong.
I don't know. This is pretty.
I reach around him and squeeze him to my side. It's cool. Like I said, you saved my ass so many times at this point. It's the least I can do. I almost tell him that he's been there for me more times at this point, but that feels like a bit too much right now. Kudzu chuckles and leans back, his arms brushing mine.
I didn't always used to be like this, you know.
What?
A fucking coward.
I scrunch my nose up. What? No way. You've been insanely brave. Kudzu shakes his head.
Nah, you saw me at Duke's house when you got caught, and then down in the basement, then when Leo tossed me out.
Those are all great reasons us to have been scared, Kudzu. You still faced all of it. Kudzu looks unconvinced.
I don't know, Chase. After what Leo did, I don't think I was going to come back.
I shrug. Well, then I'm glad I came after you then. Kudzu's quiet for a moment, then he chuckles quietly, leaning his head back to stare at the ceiling. What?
Just, I moved to Echo to get away from stuff like this.
Kudzu shakes his head.
Now look at what's happened. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like, people going crazy?
That, and guns and violence. Peyton isn't a rough city compared to others in this country, but it has rough patches. And I lived in one of those patches.
I think you told me that you moved here because there's less people. Kudzu sighs quietly.
It's not the only reason. I lost someone a few years back. I needed a fresh start, I guess.
The silence drags out for a moment as I contemplate that. My eyes drift to the picture frame by the love seat to the one where someone there had their arm around Kudzu. In it, I see a hare smiling just a toothy as the raccoon next to him, a good head taller than his companion.
But now look where I am.
I snap my eyes back to the raccoon, not wanting to be caught looking. I don't know what to say, so I just settle with, "We're gonna get out. Just gotta listen for that train."
Mm-hmm.
Kudzu has his eyes closed, so I lean back too. Despite all of the shit going on outside, there's something really peaceful about being here next to Kudzu in this little trailer. I sit there for a while, listening to the soft rush of water running. After a while, I look towards the bathroom, realizing how uncomfortable my bladder is right now. Jenna doesn't seem to be coming out anytime soon, though. Listen, I gotta take a piss.
Again?
Kudzu smirks at me. Well, yeah, it's been a few hours. I pee a lot anyway.
Oh yeah? Very good to know.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
This is a weird conversation. Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
His joking demeanor suddenly drops.
I don't know. I think we should stick together right now. Remember what happened last time?
You want to watch me?
Jesus.
What an offer. Kudzu pauses.
I'll stand in the doorway, alright? Just go by the side of the trailer.
Alright.
This is a bad idea.
What do you mean? I head back outside where Kudzu hangs back by the door.
Just make it quick and, again, yell if something happens.
It's fine, I'll only be a few feet away. I hide a small smile as how motherly Kudzu's being right now. After everything that's happened, it's no wonder. I move around the side of the trailer, back into the darkness. Quickly, I unbutton my zip. Whatever. I start to go when I hear footsteps behind me. I look over my shoulder. Kudzu, what? Then two massive paws wrap around my body. I look down and see thick claws and brown matted fur.
Oh my god.
I scream as I'm pulled back into the dark towards the desert. I know who it is immediately. The smell is unmistakable.
It just doesn't stop.
What do you mean? That and that high-pitched voice cursing as he drags me along through the brush.
Chase!
Kudzu screams seemed like he's only a few yards away. He's going to catch up to us and then, I don't know what, try to fight Brian off, I guess. But just as I'm thinking that, Brian picks me up off the ground and practically throws me. The next thing I know, my head is throbbing as the back of my... as it hits against something hard. My legs are all splayed upward, my foot pads pressed up against something smooth and cool.
Let's make sure I don't die. Well, I can't rotate. There's no more spots.
What? You can go to 7.
Oh my god. You fucking are ridiculous. Absolutely.
Gotta rotate!
Absolutely ridiculous.
That's how this works. Yes. I hear more cursing and the sounds of snarling. Kudzu? Then I hear the sound of a car door slam, and I realize I'm in a truck, my feet pressed against the windshield. Brian's massive bulk squeezing in next to me, and I feel the truck accelerate.
Bruh.
The backside wobbles back and forth in the sand as it tries to find purchase to the ground. But then find the road, and I'm pressed back into the seat as Brian steps hard on the gas. I scramble upward into the seated position, pressing back as far as I can against the door, away from Brian. I'm gonna have to go use the restroom. I am just like Chase. We're one and the same. Leo Sims forever.
So fucking long.
Yeah, it's the final scene with the final scenario with Brian, then the train, and then the epilogue.
Okay. Why is Brian, like, just showing...
He's the villain of the route.
I mean, I guess, but I thought he was done.
And he's supposed to, like, mimic Chase's character in some ways.
Okay.
Or, no, he's supposed to mimic Leo.
Okay. Being imposing, large, a little bit cruel.
Very horny.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be paying attention to me right now, with his eyes fixated on the road. My heart hammers in my chest. I can't even start to comprehend what's just happened to me.
Oh, are we gonna see a new portrait of him with a big ol', like, bullet hole in his head?
Oh, maybe. Is this real? Am I dreaming? How did I end up fucking things up so badly again?
That's just your whole fucking life, isn't it?
Story of your life, Chase.
Story of your life, man.
Brian takes a turn, and I almost tumble into him. In a panic, I kick up my feet against his, keeping myself upright and against the door. The big bear grunts and glances at me before fixing his eyes on the road. I quickly draw my feet back, pressing my knees against my chest as I try to hold on to the chair to keep from falling. I realized that what Brian must have been waiting for me, waiting outside Kudzu's trailer for a perfect moment to grab me. I'd given it to him by idiotically skipping outside to take a piss, the results of which I can smell wafting up from my pants.
Oops.
I don't care. I don't care, though. Everything is numb right now, and my mind is racing, trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of this. You won't. My paw automatically reaches back to pull at the door handle. It's locked.
No shit.
And my paw feels along the door, looking for the lock. My fingers pass over a small hole that I assumed it should be, but it's smooth. It's like the little nub from the pop-up lock is missing, now that it's been cut off. I swallow hard. I keep searching my fingers. Fingers come across the window crack handle. I tentatively start to roll it down, but it's clear that I haven't thought ahead as Brian immediately notices and
You fucking
the drafty
idiot.
air. He lunges at me with one arm still on the wheel. I scream and dodge out of the way, falling into the footwell as I try to escape his massive paws. He doesn't grab me, instead reaches for the handle and rolls the window back up. The truck swerves back and forth as he does, and for a moment I'm sure he's about to roll the whole thing with how fast he's going. We finally sit upright again,
Do that again and I'll knock you out.
and still he doesn't look at me. It's only then that I notice the stark difference in demeanor has now compared to the first few times I'd seen him. There's no lust, no animosity, no animalistic drive to fuck everything around him. Instead, there's sort of a desperation about him. I see his eyes dart around in the glow of the headlights, the fur all over his face matted down from sweat. I sit there in the footwell, staring up at him, gripping over the seat of my head, knocked back against the glove compartment. After a few minutes of erratic driving and swerving, I gather my wits enough to speak. What are you doing? Brian's eyes flick down toward me, then back up to the road before he shakes his head. He does it slowly, like he can't believe something. But he doesn't say anything, at least not for a while. Then after what happened of what could have been anywhere from 2 minutes to 20 minutes, he speaks.
Can you tell me the truth, boy?
I sit there quietly, contemplating making a jump for the door, to open it and tumble out of the desert. If I wasn't injured badly enough, or if I even survived for that matter, maybe I could make a run for it. What truth?
What's going on in this town?
Oh my god. I squeeze my eyes shut and I let the forehead thump against the seat. But only for a moment, since I want to be able to keep an eye on Brian. I already told Duke I had no fucking clue. You were there. Brian grunts as he continues to stare out the windshield, clearly thinking about something. I can't help you or anyone here, Brian. I'm just trying to find my way out. That gives me an idea. Wait. I might know a way to get us out of here. If you let me go, I'll tell you. As soon as that comes out of my mouth, I wonder if I've made a mistake. Brian doesn't need to let me out to get me to tell him what he wants. I'm alone here with him, and he can do whatever he wants with me. Now, I'd probably tell him whatever he wants to hear. But he surprises me with what he says next.
Escaping isn't going to fix any of this. We're all still going to see the same shit.
I wait, but he stays quiet. It takes me another minute to work up the courage to ask. See what?
You know exactly what.
He screeches at me with his high-pitched voice, and the truck swerves precariously. I can imagine the tires sliding off the road for a moment before Brian corrects it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
He says more gently, taking deep breaths to calm himself. Then he looks down at me.
Don't you?
I swallow hard, wanting to find the right answer, but unsure of what to say, what that might be. Like when Duke saw something on the ceiling in the diner? That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's something that Brian saw with me. He lets out a cold gruff.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Otter. That and every fucking thing else.
The truck takes another hard turn, and I brace myself in the little well. The swerve and turns are becoming more frequent. I can't really see out the window, but I'm pretty sure we're headed into the mountains. Was that creature thing going to attack us? Should I warn Brian?
But we've all been seeing shit for a long time, even before this crazier shit started a few days back.
Brian glances down at me once again.
Haven't you seen stuff here?
My mind immediately thinks back to when I was a kid. I've seen plenty of things, plenty of horrible things. But the psychiatrist had said that it was normal, and that sometimes kids hallucinate. I notice that Brian's not wearing his seatbelt, and I start to toy with the idea of grabbing the wheel. Again, I might be killed. It would at least stop Brian from taking me to wherever it is he's taking me. It might even be better to die. Maybe, but my parents, my friends, they haven't really seen stuff. Except Jenna and now TJ and Carl after what this started. Brian grins with his crocked and missing teeth.
Seems we only see shit if there's a reason to. I don't know what it is either, but from what I've seen, it's a combination of a shitty experience and being an echo.
The truck is slowing down a little now, and we start to taking a sharp turns. Brian calmed down at least, but it also means that we're definitely deep in the mountain at this point, the road having turned into gravel.
When I was a kid in Peyton, I didn't see shit, even though I had a pretty fucked up childhood. My mom left when I was 6 because my dad was a piece of shit, but you know she's a piece of shit for leaving me with him. Anyway, you know where my dad told me she'd gone?
I don't say anything until Brian looks down at me expectedly. Where? Brian cracks that, and it sends a chill up my spine.
That aliens had taken her.
I press myself deeper into the well, wishing I could just disappear into the floor.
I think you must have been drunk or high or both, but it stuck with me, you know?
This is one of my favorite tracks in the game. That's real nice. I nod, trying to keep the bear happy as he drives along a road so curvy it seems impossible in my mind.
Then when I was a teenager in 87 or so, I got myself a boyfriend. Well, more of a fuck buddy. We kind of hated each other. He talked too much, but he was a good fuck, and the only one I ever knew, so I came here every other week to fuck him or so. So he's... To Echo or to this, like, mountain?
To Echo.
Okay. But then something weird happened on my second or third trip out here. I remember the moon was red that night because of the forest fires out west. And I kept looking at it, and that's when I saw a flying saucer, like the one straight out of a cartoon with lights and a dome on top. I couldn't believe it, but there it fucking was, floating on through the sky. And you know, even though it looked stupid as fuck, I knew.
Brian takes a big, wide turn, and the truck slows more and more until it comes to a rumbling halt. My ears ring in the silence as Brian continues to stare out into the night, the headlights turning up his face.
It knew I saw it, and it was fucking evil. I just knew it.
Brian finally looks down at me again.
That night, and almost every night after, I'd wake up and couldn't move, and aliens would be around my bed. And there was this one alien that I knew was my mom. She didn't look like my mom. She looked like an alien. But I just knew it was her, and she'd do these things to me. Sometimes to my mouth, my eyes, and my nose. But usually to my dick, torturing me, and it felt fucking real.
Brian chuckles, still staring at me.
Fucked me up good, and I blame my boyfriend for it. For bringing me to Echo, because I was sure that's where the evil came from. I outed him that year, and he had to leave town because of it.
The massive bear shakes his head.
Didn't stop the dreams, though.
Brian puts the truck in park, then shuts off the engine. We sit there in the darkness and silence, and even though I'm just emptied my bladder, I feel like I'm gonna piss myself again.
Never told anyone that before.
I don't say anything, as I just breathe through my mouth, trying to make as little sound as possible.
There's something fucked up in this town that makes us see things, feel things from our past or some shit. Duke told me about it, how it's been happening a long fucking time, but he thinks there's a way to fix it.
Brian suddenly opens the door and jumps out. He slams the door hard enough to make my ears pop. For about 5 seconds, I will myself to move, to run, to open his door and sprint out into the night. But my body refuses to move, and before I know it, the bear yanks open the door and grabs me by the wrist.
Okay, so he shot him through the muzzle.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he shot him in the head.
No, it said in his muzzle area.
Okay. And if you help me out with this, we can be done with it for good.
He pulls me out roughly. My legs are like rubber when he sit me on the ground, but he holds me up easily with his paws on my arm.
Can you promise to help? Can you promise me to help? Then I'll let you go and we'll be free of the evil, okay?
All I can do is nod dumbly.
All right, it's gonna be okay, Alder. I promise.
See, Brian's a cool guy. He's
Yeah,
he's gonna
okay.
end the evil. Brian transfers his iron-like grip to my waist and starts to pull me along. I stumble after him weakly, trying not to trip in the darkness. Brian stops next to the truck bed and starts to rummage around inside. I feel like I'm going to piss again. What do you need me to do, though? Brian finally pulls something out, and it looks shiny and heavy. I open my mouth to scream, but that's when a burst of light comes out of one of the ends of it. It's a maglite. I stare at it, gasping stupidly. Brian sweeps the beam under a beam of light around. All around us is gravel, sagebrush, and cacti. And I have no idea where we are.
I need to get something, and it's in a place that's too small for me to squeeze into. I need your help to get it, okay?
Oh, okay, but what is it? Brian ignores me, looking around. He seems to settle on a direction and sets off, pulling me along with him.
Anyway, it makes me think. All these ghosts and UFOs and monsters people are seeing in the woods, I think they're all connected somehow.
Yeah? I focus on trying to keep the bear happy, pretending to be interested in his ramblings. Meanwhile, we're not even on a trail, just pushing through sagebrush and sharp rocks.
Yeah, like little bits of echo are everywhere in this world. In the world. Some small like a house, some huge like a town.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. None of this makes sense. But I have to focus on getting away from the bear. I know I should have made a run for it back in the car, but there's no helping that now. We walk for maybe about 100 yards. As we do, the land starts to incline and become steep. Brian even slips up a few times, and I'm worried he's going to fall on top of me. Each time he manages to catch himself, then yank me up after him. After a few minutes of huffing and puffing, we reach a bit of an outcrop with some large boulders. Brian lets go of me and clambers up the side of one of one, and before I can even think of running, he's turned around and grabbed me by my scuff. I squeak as I'm lifted into the air, feeling like a pup again before I'm set down beside the bear. Brian looks around, keeping in a hold of my wrist as he does. After some stumping and looking around with the flashlight, he seems to find what he's looking for. He brings up to the edge of a boulder, then he lights me up again, by the wrist. I kick around for a moment before he lowers me slowly into a dark, spacious hole. I start to wonder if I'm going to go down for a while, and I panic. Before my feet touch the ground on soft, cool dirt. Musty, cold air wafts from the black space in front of me. Immediately, Brian drops down next to me, snatching up my paw again. He shines the light into the dark and the patch in front of me, and I see what looks like a narrow tunnel burrowing into the side of the incline we're on. What is this? Brian grunts and starts to pull me into the opening, and I pull back. Brian yanks me hard, and it feels like I'm almost dislocated my shoulder. I yelp loudly.
Shut up.
Brian hisses at me as he turns sideways to better fit into the tunnel.
It's the mine, you idiot.
What? I look back at the opening back towards Echo, gently illuminated by moonlight. I thought it was sealed.
It is. This is the back entrance. Duke told me about it years ago. Said his family known about it for decades.
We push through for a while until we come to another tunnel. This one twice as wide as the one we were just in.
Are we gonna have to do a murder inside here?
No. It branches to the tunnel to the left and right. Brian stands there for a moment, inhaling deep as he looks around.
Hang on, it's been a while.
I can't help myself from blurting out. You don't know where to go. I expect him to hit me or something, but he ignores me. Finally, he pulls me to the left. The idea of being trapped here with Brian, lost in a mine, is more terrifying than anything that's happened in the town so far. The air is so musty and dry, I feel like coughing and squeezing at the same time. Sneezing, okay. But I try to hold it in so I don't upset Brian. We walk for another 10 minutes or so, taking a few turns. I try to memorize the route in case I'm able to break free, but after 5 or more branches, I realize I can't remember the second or third. Brian suddenly speaks up, nearly making me jump in the darkness.
After a while, I stopped seeing aliens.
His grip is tight, and I can feel that circulation to my paw cut off. It's like it's just a mass of pins and needles at this point.
Now I just see people.
What kind of people? People you know?
I see dead people.
No, not that. I try to keep Brian talking while I think. At some points, he's going to have to let go of me again, and it's then that I'm going to have to make a break for it, no matter what. Kudzu probably saw which direction we drove in, and he's probably went to Leo's to get the car. But at that point, I doubt they're going to be able to find us, at least not in time. We went into the mountains, probably through some back roads, and none of us even knew existed. Then Brian took me through 100 yards of desert to find a tiny opening behind some boulder. There's no way they're going to find me here. I'm on my own.
Well, I see just one person, but the person changes every now and then.
Brian pauses, looking into a narrow opening in the tunnel, even more narrow than the first passage.
Depending on who it was I last knew.
Before I can figure out what he meant by that, I'm shoved hard, forced into a passage in front of Brian. It's just wide enough that I can walk through straight, my shoulders nearly touching both sides. Brian, on the other hand, has to suck in and move sideways, grunting along, cursing, and making all kinds of noises. Brian lets go of me as he tries to pull himself through, though he keeps knocking into me and to send me forward. I try to escape, but I have a feeling that doesn't exist ahead of me. In fact, it's like I'm being trapped. I can't explain it, but I feel like I start to get a terrible feeling that something awful is waiting for me at the end of this passage. And then I start to smell something. And old and almost covered up by the dust and musty, but it's definitely there. Sweet and sick. Something rotting. It feels like ice water is poured down my back and I freeze. Only to be given a shovel by the bear behind me. I fall forward into a wider opening. The smell entombs me, and I know without looking that I'm surrounded by death. I lay there on the floor, not moving, listening to Brian as he tries to squeeze through the opening. I can remember years ago, when I was maybe 12, walking along the dirt roads back after hanging out with Carl. On the side of the road, I saw some roadkill, and just as I passed by, I could see the white maggots writhing through the fur.
So did someone just, get murdered on the way?
No, it was an animal.
What's an animal, though?
An animal. The smell that, for that single moment, was almost unbearable, and I gagged and ran past. And while the odor is a bit more faint, it's almost exactly the same. I hear Brian finally shift free from the exit, and he shines the light back down at me. Oh wow, they use the same background. I know I should run. I know I need to get the fuck out of here. I know I should be fighting like hell. Because I knew what's coming.
You do?
Is this what it's like for people to get kidnapped or murdered? People wonder why they didn't fight harder or run when they had the chance. I should have run the second we stopped in the truck. But right now it's like I'm stuck in ice. My frantic thoughts are interrupted as Brian grasps me by the back of my shirt and pulls me back onto my feet. I'm not able to stand and just sort of crumple down next to him. The bear grunts as just drags me along into the little opening that we're in, dropping me against the wall. As Brian fumbles with the flashlight, I get a glimpse of my surroundings. It's small, about 15 feet long and 10 wide. It's narrow enough that Brian takes up most of the space, and that it's hard pressed to get past him. I draw my knees up to my chest and hug them, feeling numb. God, you're such a useless piece of shit. I watch as Brian leans over something against the wall. It looks like two long, polished wood pieces of wood. Brian tips the flashlight down, and I can see those wooden pieces are attached to shovels and a pickaxe. Brian grabs the pickaxe, and and for a heart-stopping moment, I think he's going to turn to me. But instead, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out something small and rectangular. It's not until he opens it and shines the light on it that I see it's some kind of notebook. The bear looks at the notebook, then back up at the little cave we're in. The silence is almost unbearable, and I feel the need to say something, if only to fill that silence. What are you doing? You know exactly what he's doing. Brian ignores me as he continues to search for something. I whimper softly to the back of my throat. Please. About to be murdered, and you just beg like a little bitch? Shut up!
I'm gonna save it. Don't need to rotate it.
Rotate it!
Eat my
Rotate
dick.
it, damn it!
Eat my dick.
I can't help it, and I hiss through my teeth at that goddamn voice. I don't need to hear it, especially now. Brian stiffens and turns around.
What?
I shake my head, squinting and unable to see his face as the bear turns his light on me. Nothing, I just...
No, you were talking to something. Did you see someone?
No, I don't know. I shut my eyes again in the light and only see blood red. Brian chuckles and my vision goes back into black as he takes the light off me.
I was the same way as you. Let me tell you something, though. Ignoring it ain't gonna make it go away.
Brian finally stops scanning the ground and crouches down. It takes me a moment to realize what he's looking at until he reaches down and picks it up. A smooth stone. Brian looks at it for a moment, thinking. Then he drops it off to the side and looks back down at his book.
Daniel. 19. Ferret. He was the smallest, I think. Should be enough room.
Brian shines the light back down at the ground for a moment, then seems to make up his mind as he sets the butt of the flashlight on the ground. It brightly lights up the ceiling, leaving us in a dim yellow glow. Brian's eyes me for the moment, positioning himself so that he can watch me while also doing his work. Crouching over, Brian starts breaking through the hard surface of the dirt with a pickaxe, grunting with each stroke. He can only do little short swings. The ceiling is too low for Brian to even stand up straight. At this point, the smell of Brian has almost overwhelmed the stench of death. I guess it's one of those things I don't mind his smell covering up. Why aren't you at least trying to escape? Because he's in the way. Because you're a coward. Why the fuck are you talking to me now? I thought you left. I never left. You know that. You felt me even after you left the town. I shouldn't have come back. Probably not.
Wow, what a dick.
I like him. He's like one of my favorite characters. I'm going insane. Brings back memories of my old life. I'm going insane, and I'm bringing back all of my old demons. No, I think it's because you're in the mine. I think you figured out that it's the source of everything, haven't you? The voice I've been trying to ignore all week has changed. It's not vague or insidious anymore. It's more natural, like a real person. More like what I used to hear when I was a kid. Well, I was a real person. Sometimes I even doubt I ever doubt I am that person. Oh. It chuckles, and I feel the back of my brain itch. More like, what do you call it? A simulation.
We're in a simulation? Man.
Why do you even know that word? It makes It waits for an answer, but I don't want to talk to it. Oh, stop pretending I'm not here. You can feel me. You've felt me looking over your shoulder since you got here. I felt my head thump against my knees, closing my eyes. Well, really ever since Sydney. I just ignore it. But I can understand, even if even I feel as though something is controlling me. It's the oddest thing.
Hey.
I snap my head up, jumping as I find the bear staring right at me.
The hell are you mumbling?
Nothing. Brian chuckles again and reaching across the other wall, grabbing the shovel. He starts digging up the loose patch of dirt in front of him.
Yeah, keep it to yourself, I guess. But like I said, you ain't the only one.
Brian gestures behind him with a thumb towards the ground. I look and see nothing except a few stones on the ground.
After Rachel back there, things got way worse than aliens for me. I saw her at night crawling on my ceiling, peeking out from under my bed, staring at me from the window.
Brian grunts as he digs the shovel deep, then lifts, turning a pile of dirt on its side.
So did Duke. Drove him crazy, turned him into a speed addict. Not that I mind, he was always my most reliable customer.
The sick, sweet smell starts to grow again, and it starts to become overpowering. I feel like I could keep him talking, get him comfortable, and buy myself more time. Should you, though? Who's Rachel?
Duke's wife.
I try to remember what I know about Duke's marriage, aside from the fact that he isn't married anymore. I try to realize that I do remember Rachel, just barely. She was only around while I was in grade school, and was pretty nice as far as I could tell. Didn't he divorce her? Brian shrugs as he stops digging, resting on the handle.
I guess he sorta did, but I mean she was dead by then. They wanted my stuff, but I didn't have the money, so I cut them a deal to fuck for the drugs instead. I mean, I can't say I like bitches at all, annoying and whiny. But she let me go way farther than Duke ever did, so I mainly fucked around with her.
It's not hard for me to picture exactly what the fucking was.
Then one day, I guess I went too far. She died and we buried her right there.
Brian points more specifically at the rock sitting against the other side of the wall. The big bear starts to dig again, more vigorously, lengthening the patch of he's working on.
But I didn't see her until right after I buried her, maybe a week later.
The bear shakes his head and laughs mockingly.
You'd think that'd stop me from doing it again, but you know, when the last breath come out of her and she sort of shuddered on the table.
Brian glances up at me.
Blew Milo without even touching it. Maybe wonder how good it could be with a guy if it was that good with a bitch.
You want him to keep talking. Brian pauses in his sudden spurt of digging and looks up at me.
Probably wondering why I'm telling you this, thinking I'm crazy. But I don't know, feels good to tell someone. Like your own therapy otter. Just kill him and put him in the hole already. Oh my god.
No, the smell coming from is overpowering. I'm on the verge of gagging again.
I don't see her anymore though. It changes with each one.
7 stones.
And it'll probably change again.
And with that, the bear comes at me. The space is so small it takes only 2 steps. I scream and cover my mouth. Coward. And try to fold up into as tight of a ball as I can, but before I know it, Brian has me by the back of his shirt. He drags me over until I'm kneeling next to the hole. I can see it's definitely a grave now. You already knew. Because I can see the bones poking through the dirt and the bits of blue and white cloth that were his clothes. You mean Daniel, the 19-year-old ferret?
I feel like I'm telling all this to you, and me being nice to you so far. Maybe don't come back after me. Just move on.
I feel Brian move around behind me, then press something cold onto the back of my head. A gun. I guess Brian probably has plenty of those.
I'm doing this for the town. I'm doing the town some good after all.
How? I blurt out, my mind racing, trying to think of something, anything to get out of this. Brian does pause, though.
How what?
How is this helping anyone? Why are you doing this? A few seconds go by, and I'm sure I'm about to hear the crack of a pistol, the last thing I'll ever hear. Then Brian sighs.
Again, I feel like I should tell you everything, so you know. So you don't have to come back and fuck with me. But Duke, he said it all started when you came back.
I told you I have no fucking idea. My voice is ringing in a pitch as I start to panic. Duke had already tried to kill me, even after we tried to convince him I had nothing to do with any of this. Not any of this? Are you sure of that? I feel Brian set his feet behind me, and I can picture him getting ready to pull the trigger. I'm going to die. This keeps happening, doesn't it? This hysteria.
I'm sorry. Remember, this is for the good of the town.
To me, it's like the town holds its breath, letting all the evil build up until it has to let it all out in one big go. Brian grips his head fur, pressing the barrel up to the gun and into the back of my head. And you brought a lot of guilt and evil with you back to this town. Maybe that was enough to push it over the edge again.
Rest easy.
So in a way, it is your fault, isn't it? My eyes are watering, and I don't know if it's from Brian's grip of my fur or if I'm crying. Help me. I say it to you.
I only got one choice.
Well, yeah. What do you think that represents?
What do you mean?
Why do you think that?
Why do I think it only says look to the right?
Yeah, well, like, why there's only one choice?
Because there's only one way this could end.
It's because he's been making the decisions for Chase.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I glance to my right and see something standing in the entrance to a little hollow. It's faint, either because of the dim lighting or because the thing itself isn't quite opaque. It's tall, white, gangly, and it has long fingers nearly touching the ground.
Oh, do we have to see it?
Its face is heart-shaped, the whiteness of it interrupted by massive, shiny black eyes in its face. It stands there motionless, watching us. I stare back, open-mouthed. Brian must be taking notice, because the next thing I know, the bear squeals. It's so loud and high-pitched I wince. Brian let me go just the things move. It seems to lean forward and glide towards us, but the glide is stilted, as if like a film with half a second missing from it. It flickers, seeming to turn transparent as it grows closer. The white fades to pink, then a bright red for a brief second before reverting. I'm frozen, kneeling as I watch. Brian backs up and promptly steps onto the flashlight. The light's carrying sideways, and I look over to Brian's foot slip and the cylinder flashlight before it rumps come. And all light is extinguished, and I can't see the thing or Brian now. I hear him, though, as he lets out another screech of pure fear, like a wounded animal. I hear something else, too. A voice that's also high-pitched, blabbering something fast and senseless. It's like a tape recorder being rewound. Brian's screeching impossibly turns up a notch, and I instinctively move forward, away from the horrible sounds and pitch I found.
He just falls.
I pitch forward into the hole.
He just goes.
Yeah. The smell engulfs me, and I can feel the hard, numbling thing in the dirt around me. Where are we going?
Just taking a back road. What?
But we're leaving the city.
Yeah, well, I live outside the city.
You didn't tell me that. Let's just go back to the club. All right, pull the fuck over. Let me out. I said pull over. What the fuck is the lock?
You best not be doing that.
Hey, get off me. I gasp and scramble out of the grave, gagging uncontrollably. Once I'm out, I curl up to my side, drawing my knees again. A horrible screeching and bizarre bubbling language continue, though the sound from Brian are more ragged now. Occasionally the room flashes with light as Brian shifts around, but I face the wall, not wanting to look. Get up. I curl up tighter, just waiting, hoping that I woke up. You sniveling little shit, get up. I mean, that is how he would talk to Chase.
Chase is the actual worst.
I press my face into the dirt. Trust me, there's far worse out there, and it's coming for you unless you get up and get out. I've given up.
Haha. You have to.
You force yourself up on your hands and knees and start crawling into the direction of the exit. The flashlight continues to be rolling around, giving you glimpses of where you're going. The sounds from Brian have stopped. Now it's just the mechanical gibbering that it seems to be growing in pitch and speed. But you don't look back. You don't need to see that. The otter is already broken enough. Soon you're crawling through the exit, and the cacophony behind you is immediately muted. It becomes more and more faint until it almost disappears as you come out to the other side. Once you're free, you stand up to a comparatively fresh, cool air. The main tunnel. You remember this place. You also know the tunnels like the back of your hand. It's pitch black, but if you feel along the walls, you should be able to find your way out. You head to the right, down toward the end of the main tunnel, with your right hand dragging along the wall. Then, when you feel an opening with your hand, you take a left, then another right. And finally, a right that takes you out to the back exit. Nick had drilled the directions into your head far too many times for you to. Red eyes appear at the end of the tunnel.
No.
What do you mean, no?
I don't like that.
Fuck you.
It's spooky.
It's fine.
Mothman.
I hope so.
It is Mothman. Oh, damn.
At the end of the last stretch, you freeze and observe. Things in the mind can hurt you far worse than things outside. Brian had expected that. But you're not sure. Is this one of the otter's demons, or... No, it's something else. Something you're not quite seeing correctly. A friend, the lizard, he warped, yeah.
What the fuck? Chase, what the fuck?
I slump to my knees, shaking uncontrollably as Flynn shines a light down on me.
Fuck, Chase, come on, let's go.
Flynn yanks me up by my feet, and the next thing I know, I'm stumbling after him. Out of the mind, and out of what I'm now completely convinced is hell. I sit in the passenger seat of Flynn's truck, feeling numb. I choose to stare out the window, watching the desert rush by as Flynn tries to ask me questions.
Where's the bear?
I shake my head.
Is he still in the mine?
I think so.
What happened?
Oh, hey, it says Chase again. That's nice.
Shit.
I don't know. I feel the strange being back there. While everything is definitely fucked up and strange out here in Echo, at least it makes some sense. The mine is completely different. It's... chaos. That's the word. Chaos.
What?
How did you find me? I look back at Flynn, and he sees that he's strained at my... staring at me closely, barely keeping an eye on the road.
I went to Leah's house, found all you guys there, except you, of course.
Just waiting? I don't know how to feel about the idea of all my friends just sitting around while a serial killer had kidnapped me. Maybe they don't care about you.
Maybe they don't.
Of course, none of us really knew Brian was a serial killer.
Well, a lot was going on. Kudzu, that raccoon, is the one that told me you were missing. Leo, on the other hand, said you were fine, that he saw you around the house.
Oh,
Bruh.
Leo. What? Flynn shrugs.
I have no fucking clue, but he was practically holding everyone hostage. Wouldn't give the keys up, so I had to take my own truck out here.
Is everyone okay?
Hopefully.
Leo's not okay.
What do you mean? No, he's fine. He's fine.
Hopefully. Jenna says she tried to keep him calm while I came and looked for you.
How did you know I was in the mine?
Well, Kudzu pointed in the direction you went. I drove up the canyon since that's basically the only place he could go. I saw where he'd parked and where he'd taken you in there.
But how did you know about the back entrance? Flynn smirks as we come out of the Curvia Echo Canyon onto the straight road to Echo.
You cheeky bastard.
Does it really matter? Either way, I know a lot about the town.
You cheeky bastard.
He
Yeah.
is a cheeky boy.
I watched Flynn for a while until he finally glances back on me.
What?
Where the hell have you been the past few days? Probably fucking.
Oh, in the town hall managing stuff.
Stuff?
Like everything going on. I tried to find you guys at the hotel, but at Carl's house, but I didn't see anyone. Assumed you tried to leave.
Where's your cell phones?
Oh, Chase's ran out of batteries.
And he hasn't charged it in like fucking 4 days.
And Leo just didn't have his on him. It got taken away by Duke, and they just never picked it back up.
Yeah, it's kind of...
So, there are reasons. Also, there's no internet, so there might not be self-service.
Maybe not.
Yeah, that's true.
The answer
West
is...
Virginia.
Oh, God. From Satisfactory, but I have no energy to dig deeper. So are we going back?
Yep.
Then what?
Well, they were saying something about a train, so I assume we try to get out that way. Sounds like you already found out you can't drive out.
Yeah, but did you find that out, Flynn? Did
It
you
seem-
try to leave without
It
us?
sounds like he already knows.
We turn-
Anyway.
Yeah, we turn onto the road to Leo's house, and as I watch the house draw closer, I can't help but help the growing sense of dread in the pit of my stomach. Why? You don't have to deal with, Brian anymore. As soon as we step through the doorway, I'm engulfed in a combination of beige, gray, black, and white fur as I'm surrounded by my friends. Jenna, Carl, Kudzu, and... not TJ? Okay. Taking it at once. See, even Chase doesn't care. Asking me how I am. What happened, if I'm okay. Flynn puts up his hands.
Guys, let him breathe. I don't think he's up for talking too much.
Jenna and Carl step back, but Kudzu doesn't. He's got a hand on my shoulder, gripping it like he doesn't think I'm real.
Hey, I'm sorry. I should have been more careful. I should have just let you piss on my fucking carpet instead or something.
No, on the recliner. It takes me a second to realize what he's talking about, the thing that got me into Brian's trap in the first place. It makes me laugh a bit at how earnest Kudzu looks compared to what just came out of his mouth. I also realize that I want to hug him really, really badly, so I do. I felt the raccoon sniffle up again for a moment, then hug back. He feels so fucking good as to be in arms of someone I trust.
Yeah. The good boy.
No.
The goodest boy.
and I
Leo's going to kill.
He probably will, though.
seems to break through the numbness that I'm feeling, at least a little bit. Carl seems to take that as an invitation to hug as well, and Jenna joins in. I don't mind, as I wish I could stay like this forever. And Flynn doesn't hug? What an ass. Actually, I just wish this was all happened in the first place. It comes to an end eventually, and Kudzu is the last to draw back. I'm about to ask where TJ is, and when I see Leo, the wolf stands at the entrance of the hallway, his eyes on me and Kudzu. He got a pillow in one paw, and his shirt is hitched up over his stomach a bit, like he's just pulled it off.
What are you doing?
The room goes quiet, and the mood immediately changes. Carl, Jenna, and Kudzu all look wary. No one says anything. I clear my throat. I'm back. Brian took me. To Leo frowns.
Back? No, you were in my room and asked for a pillow. We were...
Leo glare turns to Kudzu.
Have they been telling you to say this?
Leo, no. No, Leo, no. The look in my former... No, it's...
Former.
Well, yeah, because they took a break. So technically he was a former boyfriend. See?
But he's not, that implies not current.
No. Former boyfriend's eyes is completely alien to me. I've never seen that look from him before. I guess I knew that the town, or whatever it is, has gotten to him, but not completely taken him. Now I'm not so sure. Kazu stands next to me, his shoulders in front of mine. Leo eyes him again and turns back to me.
Chase, come here.
I don't move. The room is completely silent.
Chase, I said come here. Leo, what the hell?
Leo ignores Flynn, his steely eyes on me. The feeling of coming to a safe place is completely gone now. Echo has seeped into every part of my life, it seems.
Oopsie.
But I don't move, and neither does Kudzu. Leo doesn't seem to know what to do. His face transforms from anger to confusion.
Chula, you were in the bedroom with me, telling me...
Leo trails off. I was in the mine, Leo, with Brian. Leo stares. The silence drags on until a soft clicking from the kitchen. Everyone looks as TJ emerges, staring at us all with lost eyes. TJ, what is it? There's another train coming. Oh, good. Thank you for watching, TJ. Oh, well, that's fun. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
He's
Jenna
being
is
helpful.
relieved because our ride out is coming, or if it's because it's distracted us from the whole Leo situation. We all move at once, squeezing past Leo out to the backyard. I'm just gonna ignore this. He watches me pass him, dumbfounded. TJ's right. In the distance, I can hear the lights. I can see the lights of the train slowly winding its way toward us. At this point, dawn is just breaking. Somehow, it's only one night, even though it feels like it's been several weeks.
Literally.
It's fine.
Alright, for whatever reason, that train is moving pretty fucking slow. We should be able to hop on it.
The train wails in the distance again, much closer now.
I thought I was going to have to drive alongside it with all you in the truck bed, honestly.
The train does seem to be moving pretty slow, but as it gets closer, I realize that it's not exactly going to be a jog to run alongside it. I might be able to catch it at full sprint.
Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'll get on first along with Kudzu, then we're going to pull the rest of you on. Alright?
Carl fidgets nervously.
I don't know if I can run that fast.
You will, now.
I feel a paw around my shoulder and it turn around. It's Leo.
Hey.
Hey, what is it? I look back at Flynn, wanting to hear what he's saying.
Listen to me. Everything you said at the house, did you mean it?
Yes. What did I say? Leo looks impatient.
What you said about loving me, wanting to be with me forever, you meant that, right?
What?
Oh my god.
The train is approaching. We have maybe a minute.
What the fuck? Why are you acting like you don't fucking remember?
Leo bristles, teeth bared and eyes narrowing. Oh my fucking god, Leo. Let's get out. Let's get out of here first. I start to back away towards the others as they continue to discuss jumping on the train.
No.
Leo grabs my shoulder, looking me right in the eye. He makes an effort to calm down, closing his eyes a moment before opening them.
Then tell me now, are you going to stay with me when this is all over?
We can talk about this when we get on the train.
No, I want to know before.
I see Kudzu looking at us, and it looks like he's about to head over.
Just tell the truth. That's all I want. Shit, hang on. Okay.
Okay. So this determines the ending.
Damn.
What ending do you want? Well, I guess, do you want to do both endings to see them both, or do you,
Well, how long are both endings?
one is real short, and one is real long.
I don't want a real long. It's very, very late.
No, we're going to do both tonight.
No! Fuck you!
It's not like the longest thing. It's just like you get an extra scene.
We'll say... We'll work something out.
Although I don't feel like he's gonna like. I feel like he's not gonna like either of these.
What do you mean? What do you mean? So that is the shorter one.
Okay.
Though if you do, it's over. We're not going back to do the other one.
What?
Look, I can't emotionally handle that.
You ass. We'll work something out.
I promise when we get on that train, we'll figure out everything out, okay? Leo watches me carefully, looking unsure. Kudzu is next to me at the moment, though, and he pulls me back towards the group.
Come on, we're going now.
Leo eyes are flashes as he watches his teeth showing. I don't have time to try and console him anymore because the train starts pulling out.
Run!
Flynn shoves Carl forward, and the ram takes off alongside the train, along the rails, looking over his shoulder at the train. The next thing I know, we're all running after Carl as the train catches up. I look back. Flynn waves both arms at the locomotive as if it whizzes past. Whizzes past. But there's a reaction from the driver. I don't see it. I just have enough time to read the letters on the side of the engine, Prescott Railway, before it moves past me down the rails. I realize that the train is quite short, maybe only 5 cars in all. We won't have many chances.
Kudzu.
Flynn points at the caboose and starts running beside it, next to 2 little steps that drop down at the very end of the platform. Gracefully, the lizard jumps, landing his feet on the steps as his hands scramble for some kind of purchase. He finds it and pulls himself up onto the second. The next second, he reaches out, holding his handle onto the caboose as he grabs one of Kudzu's paws. With much more ease than Flynn, Kudzu jumps up onto the steps and pulls himself onto the platform. As I pass Carl at this point, the ram already losing steam. He calls out after his hoarse, ragged voice.
Shit, I'm not gonna make...
Flynn grabs the ram and they pass Carl, hop, skip, and an uneven gravel. And for a horrifying moment, I think he's gonna fall. But Kudzu leans in, snatches him up as well, practically lifting Carl onto the platform. Jenna, who's right beside me, is next, reaching out for a paw to Flynn. He grabs it, and Jenna easily jumps on over the 2 steps. I think it's my turn next, but TJ slows down abruptly, and I move to his side to make room for him. Flynn grabs his arm and hesitates several times before Kudzu grips him on as well, and he's able to get on the first step. It's then that I realize that the train is picking up speed, and I'm starting to slow down.
You and your stubby ass legs.
Right? I move up beside the caboose, seeing Flynn's outstretched hand. Now that I'm next, I can see how terrifying this is. The wheels clack loudly in my ear, and I have no idea how I was going to lift one leg while keeping up the speed. But I did get a grasp on Flynn's hand, and I see Kudzu's paw reaching out as well. Then, the train's going to way too fast now, and I know I'll only have one chance at this. I pull down on the hands and lift my feet onto the land on the last step. Once my feet make contact, relief floods through me. I can't help myself as I grin and take my first step up. Then I hear the sound of stomping footsteps behind me.
Is Leo gonna rip you off the fucking train?
Well, of course not. I look back and see Leo running next to me, snarling with every breath. I start to move quickly, wanting to be out of the way for Leo. But that's when I see him already reaching out for me. His anchor bracelet glints in the moonlight.
Oh, so dramatic with the anchor bracelet.
I don't have time to think as the wolf grabs the back of my shirt and pulls hard. I hear threads pop in my collar as I'm choking. I lose my grip of Flynn and Kudzu. I fall and reach out and grab onto the rails of the platform. In doing so, my legs swing under the train and I lose my grip. I hit the ground and roll several times before something catches my leg. I'm pulled violently with the train and an unbelievable pressure squeezing me, like my calves are caught in a vice. Suddenly, the train lets me go, and I come to an abrupt sliding stop in the gravel.
Oh, there goes his legs.
I lay there, stunned, feeling nothing. And then an almighty throb goes through my legs.
Or where they once were.
I gasp and pull myself up. I see that my feet are missing.
Yep.
Wow, it's almost like that was
It's
foreshadowed.
like they totally foreshadowed that.
I stare at my legs, where my legs seem to end, and ends where my pants are. A dark stain pool out of the ground around them. I can't think. I don't know what to think.
Chase!
I stare up to see Kudzu, just Kudzu, limping towards me.
Did he fall off the train too?
I wonder if he's missing a foot too, but no, just limping on it. Well, I mean, if you jump off, like, he probably, like,
Right.
twisted, like, whatever.
Yeah.
As he approaches, I point at the missing feet, like, maybe he has an answer to what just happened. My feet!
Fuck! Is Leo gonna kill him now?
Immediately, the raccoon drops beside me, reaching to his waist. He's undoing his belt as tell him now is not the time for stuff like that. But then he starts putting the belt around one of my calves. Then, when he lifts a pant leg, I get a glimpse of ragged flesh and fur, blood and white of bone.
Leo, you fucking dumbass. Give me your other belt.
I hear footsteps behind him.
Take it up.
Kudzu slumps down over my leg, and I wonder if he's trying to stop the bleeding with his body. A similar dark paddle starts to form around his head and face. Shit. I reach out and press a paw against his head, wishing I wore a belt so I could put it around his neck.
Oh, no.
Leo mumbles in my ear, pushing Kudzu off roughly as he looks at my legs.
We're gonna get you fixed. I didn't mean for this to happen, but we'll figure something out.
Oh, see, just like what Chase said.
Yeah, absolutely.
A wolf slides his arms around me and picks me up, and the world tilts.
Okay, so this is the bad ending.
This is the bad ending.
Okay.
Get you a man who would dismember your legs but still hold you close.
Yeah.
But still...
Leo flashes me a grin from across the table as my mom turns away to get drinks from the fridge. This is going to way better than I thought it would. My dad asks Leo what he's been doing for a living, and the wolf tells him he's already got a high-paying job at an auto repair shop. At the same time, he's playing footsies with me under the table. Adorable.
But how?
My legs are throbbing regularly now, not even really hurting. I squint against the bright light of the bathroom as Leo flips it on. He turns to the bathtub, and I see a bright streak of red on the wall after he does. Then he lays me down in the tub and starts to wrap my legs. It does start to hurt, then I groan.
Shh, don't worry, it's fine. This is gonna fix you up completely.
The end of the bathtub is completely red. I lay my head on Leo's chest as he taps away, texting on his phone. I love days like this, where we have the whole afternoon free and we can choose to do nothing. It's peaceful and quiet. I love the way the late afternoon sun pours through the window and warms my fur while at the same time being cooled by the fan. I realize then that I want to spend the rest of my life with this wolf.
You don't have a choice now, though.
Well, I mean, the rest of that life might not be the longest. Leo nuzzles my neck and head for mumbling.
Shit.
Oh, you scrolled back, so just...
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
Into my ear, but I can't really understand him. I look down and see that my pants are off, and I'm just in my boxers. The end of my legs are wrapped in red bandages, completely soaked through, soaking into the bed I'm laying on. I'm starting to reach towards them, but my hand is shaking so hard, and Leo grasps it, pulling it back to my chest. I'm really cold. In response, Leo draws closer and spoons me.
Oh my god, Leo.
Early morning light is pouring through the window, and I think I can hear sirens. Leo nuzzles my ears again, and I try to pull away, but he holds me tight.
Like you said, we're gonna work something out.
Yeah.
Goddamn. I knew it would be easier to do that here in Echo, where we started. Seeing you leave on that train was too much.
Something leers at me from the corner of the room.
Is it you?
Leo gazes at me with pure, unconditional love as he pulls back from our kiss. My first kiss. My excitement comes out in a burst of giggles as I hug my wolf to my body, feeling his soft warmth against me. The wolf hugs back, and we stay like this for a long time. I don't mind that it's in this rundown train yard in the middle of a hot desert. I'm in love with him.
Oh shit. Here we go.
He holds me tight. The throb in my legs have stopped. I'm not cold anymore either, just empty.
He's fucking dead, man.
The creature staring at me from the corner, red and grotesque. I stare back at my vision slowly fades. I don't feel anything anymore.
Dead.
I'll scroll back quickly. Okay, so load the other save file.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah,
That's
it just goes to credits.
Okay. I can
No,
just
go
load
to
it.
load.
I can just load it because I'm not an idiot.
The music is unnerving.
I like it. I
Isn't
like
it
it.
nutty?
Ugh.
Eat shit. This was my first instinct.
No. Leo's eyes bore into mine as I look back at him. Now it's the time for sure. Now isn't the time for sure. In fact, it's the absolute worst time for something like this. But looking at him, I can tell that this is the only time for Leo. No, Leo. Leo's eyes widen, and he leans his head back just slightly, at the same time taking a step back. It's like I've physically pushed him. After everything that's happened, I just can't. Leo seems frozen, watching me, his arms hanging loosely at his side. I hear the crunch of gravel next to me, and Kudzu's by my side.
Come on, we're going now.
Leo's hand moves then to his waistband. I have a moment to see him lift a gun from under his shirt, his eyes on Kudzu. My body moves automatically, stepping in front of the raccoon and raising my hand up to my chest defensively. Leo has already frozen in motion, a gun in front of his stomach, still pointing down at the ground, and he just stares past me.
What the fuck?
I feel Kudzu grab my arm from behind, his grip so tight that it's painful. But I keep my eyes on Leo, waiting and watching to see what direction the gun might go in. Then he drops. First his arm, which hangs loosely by his side once more, then the gun, which clatters to the gravel below. I flinch, expecting it to go off. It doesn't, and instead my ears are filled with the sound of an arriving train. Leo's eyes are back on mine, and I watch his tears start to spill out. Come on, Leo, we have to get out of here. Kudzu pulls me back, and I turn away from Leo and the town of Echo as I rejoin the rest of the group.
He stays behind, I bet. Run!
Okay, so this is a lot of the same, so you kind of like click a bit.
The next thing you know, running,
Yeah.
check back, flames, don't see it.
Yeah,
Scott
see,
Railway, 5 cars in all, too many chances, Kudzu,
Kudzu,
blah, blah,
he
blah.
gets on there. Kudzu jumps up
Yep.
there. He gets Kudzu up, passes. Yeah.
Carl.
It's he's not gonna make it.
Not gonna make it.
And Jenna's
Jenna,
up there. TJ's up
TJ's up
there.
there.
Okay.
Here's
Then I
my
realize,
checkers.
yeah.
Starting to slow down.
I move up beside the caboose, seeing Flynn's outstretched hand.
And
Now it's time for, and I see how
Yeah.
terrifying this is. Okay.
yeah,
The wheel is cracked. Okay, one more.
Loudly.
And I guess then I see reach up. Yeah, okay.
as well.
Train's going
Too
fast.
fast
Yep.
now. One chance.
Yep.
Last step.
Once my
Contact.
yeah.
Relief.
I can help myself, and I grin and pull away myself up from the steps. I don't know if we're safe, but if this whole plan is going to work, but we'd carried it out somehow, and that felt good for once. Then I remember Leo and looked back, expecting to see him running next to the train.
Nope.
Instead, all I see is the brush and gravel rushing past. I look back towards the town, and I think I can make out a small figure in the distance, exactly where I'd left him.
Where the hell is Leo?
I stay silent, but Flynn follows my gaze towards the desert.
Shit.
At that moment, I'm not sure what I should be feeling. Probably relief. But what I do feel is an incredible wave of sadness, like a physical wave smashing my body. Probably the same thing Leo felt when I told him. Some part of me knows that this shouldn't matter right now. All that matters is that we might have just escaped with our lives. But leaving Leo behind, someone I'd known most of my life, someone who'd protected me, even been a friend to me, guided me through the worst parts of my life, someone who'd always emphasized togetherness and family, who'd always vowed to protect and stand by my side. That was the very person, that very same person had just chosen to stay behind. While they're the ones leaving, he's the one that decided not to leave, but to leave us. And as that solitary figure grows smaller and smaller, the idea hurts more than anything else right now. After seeing Janice get murdered, after being tortured by Brian, and nearly being murdered in a mine, this separation from my best friend is the knife being twisted into my chest. I sink to my knees, holding onto the rails, wondering if I should have stayed behind. Maybe the Leo I'd just been with isn't the Leo I really knew. He needed help, and I just abandoned him. I should have stayed behind. Hot tears spill over my cheeks as I stare at the metal platform. Fuck you. We say... Oh, yeah, it does say we. We say words under our breaths, but that's more rage behind them than anything I've ever said in my life. Oh, this is my favorite track in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And they're meant for Echo. Fuck you for killing Janice. Fuck you for hurting William. Fuck you for killing Duke. Fuck you for hurting Clifford. Fuck you for what's buried in those mines. Fuck you for hurting Nikolai. Oh, Jesus. Not my boy. Fuck you for twisting my friends into something they're not. Fuck you for hurting Cynthia. And fuck you for ruining my life. I sit there on my knees, sobbing hard, like I'm crying for two people at once. I can't see Leo anymore, but the thought of him alone, probably hurting like me, is too much. I don't know how long I cry for, but it feels like a long time. After a while, I feel a paw on my shoulder. I imagine that the rest of my friends standing there, staring at me, but when I turn my head, it's only Kudzu. The raccoon is crouched next to me, his head turned towards me, a look that can only be described as understanding on his face. In a bit of a daze, I rub my face on my shoulders and clear my vision. Sorry.
Don't be.
Kudzu says it automatically as he rubs my shoulder gently.
Do you want to get up? The rest of them went inside.
I stay crouched there for a moment, waiting, watching the blur of the train in front of me as we continue through the desert. Give me a sec. My nose is all stuffy, so my voice comes out clogged. The tiny lights of Echo on an endless expanse of desert get smaller and smaller, and so too does the feelings of tension in my chest. And with the tension goes the sad, angry presence in my head. He goes quiet again. It makes me feel a bit better, but each time I think about Leo, that knife gets a little deeper. Kudzu nods and squeezes my shoulder. After a few moments of silence, he speaks.
You know that's someone I lost a few years ago?
I wipe my eyes again and nod.
He was my boyfriend.
I keep silent as I stare at the tracks, almost hypnotized. The strange feeling of wanting to jump trickles down at the back of my brain, then fades slowly.
One night we were walking along like we usually did, and we got mugged. We should have just given him everything, but my boyfriend, of course, stepped forward, confronted the guy, and got shot.
I glance back at the raccoon with no idea what to say. Kudzu shakes his head like he's coming out of a dream.
I'm just saying that I'm here. I might know what it feels like, you know.
I cough a little to clear my throat. I mean, he didn't die. Kudzu shrugs.
Breaking up can feel like that sometimes.
It's a lot more than that. It was all of that. I wave in the direction of the town. It just feels like I lost him right when we got away.
We're gonna get people to go back for him.
Yeah? I let out a big breath before slowly standing up, my knees propping as I do. Kudzu stands with me as I lean against the railing, choosing not to looking at the town. After a moment, I turn around to face Kudzu, and then I hug him. There's no hesitation this time as he hugs back. I let myself lean into him, letting him support me, leaning the fur on his neck poke through mine. We stay like this for a good 5 minutes, vibrating along with the train. Finally, I pull back. All right, we should probably go in. I don't think it's all that safe out here anyway. Without letting go of me, Kudzu opens the door and guides me inside.
You could do so much better, Kudzu.
What?
You could do so much better than Chase.
Chase is fine. My friends are all sitting in a little seats in the dark, swaying along with the train's movement. Carl sits closest to us, and he looks up at the sound of the door.
Hey, Chase, are you okay?
I laugh. No. Carl smiles sadly.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine, man. I see Jenna and TJ together on the seat further along. The wall and Flynn sits opposite of them. Sitting further, a small shape sits leaning against the opposite end of the caboose, curled up on the seat. It's Clint. Flynn occasionally glances at him, but the polecat doesn't seem interested in coming closer to us. Kudzu guides me to a seat next to Carl, and I make room so that the raccoon can sit next to me.
So, where do you think we're going?
I feel Carl twitching against me as he sits there, hunched over. Anywhere's better, as long as it's not hell, I guess.
I guess.
Kudzu's arm goes around my shoulders automatically, and we sit there for what feels like a long, long time. And I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if this were the rest of my life, honestly. The first time in several days, I feel calm and safe. Soon enough, though, the darkness of the caboose is illuminated with occasional flashes of light.
That was weird. The transition.
It became more saturated.
Yeah. Flynn looks out the window.
Peyton.
With a grating screech, the train starts slowing down. I'm a little surprised. I guess I thought the train wasn't even real and it would just go on forever. But now I know it's a slow, stuttering stop. We sat in the dark, quiet, listening, and then Flynn stands up and opens the door. Soft orange lights spill inside. What the hell? Out of the door, I see rows of trains stacked, occupied with other boxcars. Someone moves into view. It's an older-looking fox in overalls. He stares up at us like we're aliens. Where the hell did you come from? A moment of silence goes before Flynn clears his throat.
We're from Echo.
You might want to click. Oh, okay. Oh, we're back to Saturday.
Back to Saturday.
Yeah.
GG's. Damu.
Right?
My god. Look at that.
You don't need to save. This is the shorter scene.
Okay.
Because this is the epilogue. Yeah, Mom, I promise I call you in an hour.
Wait, why are we going back to Echo?
No, I'm not. No, we're not staying the night. I promise. Wow, Mom. All right, I swear. I love you too. Bye. I hung up and dropped my phone into my lap, sighing loudly. Kudzu laughs.
Everything okay?
I rub my eyes. Yeah, I guess. She's just worried, obviously. Kudzu reaches over and sets his paw on my knee, squeezing briefly before returning it to the steering wheel.
I can still turn back, you know.
I take in another breath and hold it. It's tempting. It might even be a better idea to just let the past die. But now that I'm leaving the area for good, I want to see it one more time.
Why?
The town in Leo. I let the breath out. Nah, I need to do this. I've thought about it for so damn long. There's no way I'd forgive myself for backing out now. I need closure. All right. Oh, okay.
All right, but if he gets weird at all, I'm taking you the hell out of there.
He won't. He's back to normal, as much as any of us can be anyway. But I told him that it's only going to be for a little bit, that we're just driving through. I look over at him. You want to stay in the car?
Was planning to, unless you're planning on going inside.
No, I'll stay outside.
All right, but I'll be watching in case you two try anything.
Yeah, right. It's been 2 years.
Saturday, 2 years later.
Yeah, it's Saturday 2 years later. Hey, I know Leo. He's not the person we last saw.
Yeah, I know.
I feel my stomach tighten as I suddenly realize we're driving past a lake, then onto Main Street. It's completely abandoned, but then we pass the motel. Okay, this scene's fun.
Okay.
The windows are boarded up, and the parking lot is filled with more cracks than I remember, but I'm hit with a wave of familiarity at the same time. Standing there in the parking lot are two people. Pointing at the motel as a large black bear, and in front of him stands a canine of some kind with a video camera. They're the
characters from
protagonists
Arches
from the sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Right? Yeah. Kudzu snorts but doesn't say anything. At first, I feel a large spark of anger at them for probably seeing this whole thing as a morbid, fun adventure. Only for Devin. Cameron did not like this idea. Not even having the slightest idea of what sort of hell the town went through. Well, after one night...
Yeah, it was just one night, jeez.
And then I remember that I had done the same thing 2 years ago.
Oops.
Granted, it was many more years removed, but still the same. We turn onto Leo Street, and my stomach tightens further. Kudzu glances at me.
Can I get a kiss before you talk to your ex?
Eyes on the road. Kudzu leans over, very deliberately keeping his eyes on the road as he tries to turn his face towards me.
Kudzu could do so much better.
I give him a quick peck on the side as his muzzle, and he laughs. I try to laugh as well, but it gets caught in my throat as I see that old house. And there waits in the driveway is Leo.
Do we get a different portrait? No.
Yes.
Just the fucking bracelet.
No, fuck you. That's so meaningful.
Hey, how's it going?
Leo cheerfully greets me as I open the door. It catches me off guard a little bit with his mood being so different from mine. Hey, Leo, what's up? He has his paws shoved in his pocket, but still manages to shrug.
Not much. You?
Not much. Leo ducks his head and looks at Kudzu.
Hey, Kud, you doing all right?
Kudzu awkwardly answers from behind me.
Yeah, I'm okay.
There's a moment of silence as I try to think of what to say and do. I hadn't expected Leo to just meet me outside.
Did you want to come in for a beer or something? Oh, I'm actually driving for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we were just stopping by for a minute.
Ah, okay.
Leo's smiles falter a little bit, then he shrugs again.
Want to go for a walk then? Stretch your legs?
I look back to Kudzu, but he doesn't say anything, doesn't give me a hint as to what he's thinking. He's leaving the decision up to me. Yeah, sure. Leo ducks his head again.
You want to come, Cud?
Kudzu hesitates, then shakes his head.
Nah, you two go ahead. I prefer the AC. Alright, cool.
Feeling just a little tension between the two of them, I quickly jump out and shut the door. I look over at the rail yard, which is in full view of the car, and point.
No.
Want to walk over there?
Sure.
So, you've just been hanging around here for the past 2 years?
A little bit. Spent a lot of time at my parents'. I'm moving back in with them right now, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it sucks. But honestly, I can't stand all the vultures scavenging around for stories here.
Sounds like it, but at least you'll be around other people, right?
Yeah, it's officially a ghost town now, if you haven't noticed.
I look out over the rest of the town, towards the motel and convenience store, and all the tiny houses and trailers in between. Not a single person.
I actually visited Carr once in a while over the summer.
Leo nods up toward the mountains, and I see the big mansion glinting gently in the sunset. Hey, that's cool. I hear he's doing pretty good at school right now.
Good. Are you going back to school?
Meh. I shrug my shoulders, walking up to the train tracks to straddle the street rails. What are you doing, Kat? Not in Pueblo, since we're moving a couple states, but probably eventually.
Hey.
There's a lull in the conversation as we both go quiet. I look around, wondering if was the spot where we hopped the train. The train that turned out to be an old engine and caboose on the way to Peyton, where it was then transferred to a train museum. It had been traveling at a gentle 10 miles per hour to keep from derailing from the old tracks, just slow enough for us to catch. It was the last of 3 engines being transferred that night. Just a few hours later, the emergency services went in and recovered everyone else who was in town, including Leo. I still wonder if we'd ever needed to hop the train, but I guess I was escaping more than just the town. I look back at Leo. Are you okay? Leo looks up from kicking some rocks. I mean, I scratch my head vigorously, trying to think of how to say it, not to say the wrong thing. Have you been doing okay? Are you happy? Leo smiles.
Not really. Are you?
I think back to the past 2 years of nightmares and panic attacks, of breakdown into tears out of nowhere. How just a few hours ago I dropped to the ground in a grocery store in Peyton because someone dropped a jar of jam. But Kudzu had been there, like always, to help me back up. I'm managing. I can't cope with this.
Oh.
It's a process.
That's good.
Are you managing? Leo chuckles.
I'm just living.
Are you getting help?
Like professional help?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, it can really help.
I like to do things on my own these days.
Leo looks towards the car, Kudzu barely visible through the window. People can help. You don't have to do everything on your own.
I think it's best if I stay away from people for now.
I noticed the anchor bracelet missing from Leo's wrist. I look down at the tracks. Listen, I'm sorry about everything that happened. I wish I could do things over, even before what happened in Echo. Leo looks at me for a moment, a sad smile on his face.
The last 2 years have been hell for me. I cried myself to sleep every night thinking about you.
I feel my face flush with embarrassment and, for some reason, shame.
But last month, for the first time, it stopped. I stopped thinking about you every hour. I stopped thinking about what you might be doing, about how he might be treating you, about whether or not you're thinking of me. Yeah, I still think about you sometimes, and when I do, I still cry. But now it hurts less. So yeah, I am doing better, Chase.
Oh, well, that's good. I have no right to feel a little sad, but I do.
I'm sorry, Chase. For not protecting you the way I should have, for trying to control you and do all that shady shit behind your back. Whatever the fuck was in this town that made us all go crazy,
I realize it twisted up my thinking. But those thoughts were always there. Echo just brought it up to the surface. So I'm a shitty person, and you made me realize that. And I'm sorry I brought you into it. Just know that I really did love you.
I hate that he said did.
Ah!
Leo looks over my shoulder at the car again.
Anyway, you should get back to Cud. He'll take care of you, and I hope you'll take care of him. Okay?
My mouth hangs open for a little bit, but that snaps me back to reality. Yeah, I'll do that. I start walking back to the car, but Leo doesn't follow me. I pause. Do you want my new number? We can talk.
No. Ah.
I hate this. The surprised look at my face makes Leo laugh. It's a real laugh. Kind of sad, kind of happy, but real.
That wouldn't be good for either of us.
So we're just saying goodbye forever? That old knife in my heart starts twisting again. Leo shrugs.
You never know.
I stand there 10 feet away from my first boyfriend. My first kiss in this very railroad. My best friend.
But hey, if you drive through Peyton again, I'm always open to have another chat. Maybe you'll catch me in a better place.
I will. I say it immediately, and Leo smiles at me. So I'll see you again someday?
I'll look forward to it.
All right, bye then.
Goodbye, Chase.
I walk the rest of the distance to the car and open the passenger door before getting in and sitting down. With the door still open, I look back one last time. Leo stands there with paws still jammed in his pocket, his fur outlined with orange and gold light from the setting sun, highlighting his head fur like a halo. I take it in for a moment, then wave. He waves back. And with that, I close the door.
Look at that. GG's. Mm-hmm. Are you okay?
No.
Are you okay emotionally?
Can you believe the good ending was a breakup?
I know!
It's pretty good, though.
Please patch in a real ending where I get to spend the rest of my life
A
with you.
real ending. That was a good time. That was good. Some good, that writing's really excellent, actually.
Isn't it?
That's really
Isn't
good. They worked really hard on this route,
The bad
for sure.
ending was fucky wucky dang.
Yeah, it is.
It
It
for
is.
sure
I mean, I
was,
of
though.
course much prefer the good ending.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it doesn't feel good. But
well, not everyone's 100% in love with Leo. Like
you can
are.
shut up.
Oh, I clicked. My bad.
Oh, that means you don't
I
get to.
do find it interesting that, like, you know, it's sort of like a dating sim or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like...
You
It's
did.
not good
Chase
ending.
gets with somebody in the end of this route.
Which one?
He gets with Kudzu.
Yeah, he was with
Yeah,
the
that's
yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
So
he
But
does get
none
with
of the
Kudzu.
other people that you...
No.
they're probably all doing okay in life.
No, you get the one comment from Carl. where
Yeah,
it's like,
about
oh, he
Carl.
went. So
Yeah.
you're supposed to assume that everyone lived
Happily
better
ever after.
lives.
Because they left Echo.
But of course, this route was very focused on how Leo's journey would end.
Yeah.
And I do love that character. He's just so well written.
But we did it.
And
That was
he's the most alluring character in this game. And
That was some pretty fucky shit with the mine.
yeah. Oh, so did you figure out
Figure out what?
who that was?
What the person in the standing in the mine?
No. Who's there with Chase?
Like who
Talking
it was?
to him?
Yeah.
Talking to him? Is it Samuel?
Yeah.
Is it?
That's Samuel.
Okay, so yeah.
That's why he mentions Nikolai and
Yeah,
Clifford.
that's
and
what that's
Cynthia.
what I figured. That's pretty
He's
neat.
the protagonist of the prequel game. So we know he does not have a good ending, and that all of his friends don't either. Already.
Wow.
And boy, do they play with that expectation in Smoke Room. Where just no one's gonna get a happy ending. They're still making the game, but they're releasing it chapter by chapter, and it's just
Yeah.
oh, there's no way that.
Oh.
Yeah, you have the little gallery.
Some really nice art.
Yeah, so these are all of them because I finished.
Because
the
you
game.
unlocked it. Okay. Well, there's a couple I haven't seen.
Yeah. Okay, click the one below the with Carl.
This one?
No, the one next to it.
This one?
Yeah. Okay, look at that face from Chase. Look at that
Jeez,
fucking
bro.
face.
Jeez,
It's so
bro.
good. I love that face.
Get this man some water. God damn.
Well, it's okay because you don't end up with Carl in Carl's route.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that and like none of the routes end with him getting with one of his friends.
This one's cute, though.
Oh, it's super cute.
It's really cute.
But yeah. You know, there aren't many CGs from Flynn's route.
Like, is this all of them?
No.
Oh, no, there's more. I don't want to see.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Do it.
Are you? Well, I don't know. How keen are you about playing the other routes?
Show me the spooky scaries.
There's a CG for it. So you do if you scroll down.
And there's this one.
No, that's a different character.
Oh, no, that's... Oh, we saw that one.
That's Shadow Chase.
Nega Chase.
No, he's called Shadow Chase.
Ooh,
Let me out of it.
kinky.
How do I get out of it? I'm just clicking through it. Okay. So there's this spooky scary. Is that a dead person?
Oh, click the one with the door.
This one?
Yeah.
Damu!
Oh no.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is the... Jenna talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
It's Babby Jenna.
Damu.
This CG is in Flynn's route.
I'd be
If that
makes any
upset,
sense.
too.
This one looks like the
Home.
at least from a distance the lining looked a lot different. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Look, he's getting it.
Damu, bro.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Is this separated into the routes? Damn.
Is it?
I don't
Is there
know.
more?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, this is the yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone now. Oh.
Oh, so that it when you click it, it goes through the different variants. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Okay.
I like this one.
That one's real good.
This
That one's
is
real
really
good.
cool.
Yeah. If you scroll up to the top, there, the stadium one's my favorite.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, we know. we went through this route. We just finished.
That one's my favorite CG. It's great. It's cute.
This is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Where's that one?
I don't know. I guess you'll find out if you play the other routes.
Fucker. All right. Well, GG's, everyone. We
Yeah.
did it. Good job. Okay, I came back. Look at that. We did it.
Yep.
My
See
God.
you around, everyone.
Goodbye.